Good morning, traders out there. How we doing? Who's ready to go ahead and make some money? Of course, I'm ready to keep getting after it. Now, funded trader and pushing to the next level, right? And today, guys, another trade into the green in the pre-market. I will talk about my pre-market strategy for penny stocks, of course. So stick around right here if you guys want to find out a little bit more of a breakdown on that, how I find the stocks, how I trade them. Today, I did make one good trade and then missed the second trade, which was the big one. But find out what trade that was right here, of course, on the show. Let's get to the action. We'll talk about what's going on in the market. We'll get to the playbook, a lot going on here. And we got to talk about what the next moves are. And I did make one mistake in my other eval, of course, the bigger evaluation. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. But we got a lot to talk about here. Let's get it started with first getting into the playbook action. Then you guys will also be able to see my little trade that I made this morning. Wasn't a bad one, the limited account. Let's keep it going, guys. Let's go to today's playbook action. All right, guys, the playbook today is going to be a little bit of a mix. It's going to be a little bit of growth, a little bit of some somebody that might have to change tunes on. We'll talk a little bit about it. Let's take a look here. First one up, we're going to take a look at ARKK, of course, because I kind of just spoiled it, spoil giveaway there. ARKK, Cathie Wood, the ARK motion here, guys. The ARK innovation, of course. We talked about how genomics have been hot lately, and Cathie, to me, was a while like an omen if she was in the stocks that I wanted. But if we think about this in the monthly, right? And sometimes it's even prudent to just think about things in quarterly or even yearly, right? So we'll see what happens here with ARK. But what happened? Essentially, we got a bottoming at 32. Now we're starting to get outside of a monthly range, right? Where we were kind of stuck in between here with Cathie Wood. And now things are looking a lot different, right? Now we're starting to look a lot better. We have a new presidency. It had 2 years of sideways action, pretty much almost 3 years of sideways action. And now you got the lift off. And I think what's important is that 60 pullback that we just got. So that was the opportunity for it to come back to the 90 MA, 55. So at this point, I think we got to continue to watch to see if it can hold 90 MAs or maybe a little bit further. Maybe it's the 50 and you're just watching the recent action because we went to the 50 over here at the 57. Now would we come back to 61, right? As long as it's above 60 here, I feel we're still looking good. Could we get a pullback on this name? Yes, we could. But there's a lot of names in here that are strong. Right. So I do this by RSI, and you guys can do this also, of course, looking inside of the names to look at what is strong in ARKK. So what can we find that could make us money today? Well, usually a lot of traders will go with the strong names. Of course, what's leading that action? Palantir to the upside with an RSI of 86. You got Pinterest, right? Pinterest. There you guys see it up there almost to 40 on its own little island. Tempest AI. RXRX, recent popper that I think we got to really keep an eye out for. And here comes those genomic names, right? That RXRX, that Beam Therapeutics. Talked about this one yesterday. Nice little pullback day. CRISPR, another one to take a look at today. I think we got to watch to see what happens with these. CRISPR has the earnings, of course, to keep an eye out for. Meta is in this also. You got Archer. Big watch for me today. Guys, I have this one on radar for a move back above 11. We'll see what happens. I traded this one pretty well in the smaller account, so I want to continue to watch that. You got Hood. You got you got Roku, Shop. So there's some good names here. NTLA, another name to kind of keep an eye out. This is a little bit of a turnaround biotech that has a long-term trend line that is starting to get better. Keep your eyes on these names. They have been turning around. SoFi shows up there. That was one name that was on the playbook just on Thursday. And that was right here as we started to turn around here, right? So when Thursday it's action, the 213, we've made a pretty much 13% move back in SoFi. Well, the key was to see if it would fill this gap up there towards the 18. That's one to keep an eye out. And then the last one here I'll give you guys is UniPath. I like this one because it's been sideways, 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 and now has a big gap that it can fill. It could go back to 18. I'd keep an eye out on this to see if it breaks a nice long trend line here. Approach per path. This is not a bad looking chart. Let's go to another one on the playbook today. Let's go to Intel. Intel's been staying hot, and I got asked the question on Sunday if I'd like Intel or SMCI. I picked Intel. Not a bad day yesterday, about 11%, continuing off of this 25. And now I think this is where you got to look for the pullbacks. A lot of the times when you start to get these crosses, these quick crosses, what ends up happening? Well, what ends up happening a lot of the times is that we need to see it kind of hold, right? So we've been kind of filling in this gap over here to the 30s. I think that we could get back there, but we might need a pullback first. So the 200 moving average is the closest moving average we have here, which is 25.15. That's kind of the level that I'd be looking at today to see if we can make a move back to 25 and then continue going. So maybe it undercuts 25 today and then reclaims that 25. That's what I'll be watching for in Intel. And of course, the rumors could be all rumors, and then all of a sudden they're true. We'll find out, guys. Archer, of course, is the next one. I've talked about it. The setup is through 11, and it's an hourly setup. So in the morning, we were up there in the 5 a.m. time towards 11:48. Then we pulled back completely towards 1084. Now, can it hold this 1050 support? 1050s to 1070 is the area that I kind of see as support right now. We'll see what happens in between that range, right? Can we find some support and then actually start going higher? Or reclaiming 11 here doesn't make a bad call, right? Look at the 15-minute. We've gotten a couple of moves above this 11. Now we'll look to see if we do a little scoop down below towards like 1070s and then right back through 11. We'll see what happens there, of course, on the playbook. The playbook's all about just plays that I'm looking in the market, right? And you guys need to have your own playbook every single day. Looking for stocks, combining variables, bringing in the news, right? Those are the things that you want to be thinking about when you're creating or constructing your playbook. Like always, guys, smash the like. We got a lot of you guys joining in now, coming in. I see you guys joining in there on YouTube, on X. Do us the favor. Hit the retweet and like button. We need to get to some more traders out there. And the number one way that you guys keep us right here, absolutely for free, is hitting that like, hitting the subscribe, of course, and hitting those retweets out on X. We'll see what happens out there. Can we make some money today, guys? Let's go looking around in the market. Let's find out what we're looking at. We'll go into the sunrise report in just a second here. It's going to be a good one. And Michael Noss will be joining us today. We also have another CMT that's going to be joining us today, guys. So, hey, stick around, guys. If you guys don't know what CMT stands for, you'll learn it today. I'll definitely tell you guys a little bit more about, of course, the chartered market technician. It's something that I'm even studying on, and I don't like to, hawk about it, but I'm trying to get there, to the CMT. Need to get back on my studying game there. But hey, it's not easy. Like always, we're going to continue looking into the market today to see what we can find. What do we got up our sleeves? Let me take a look at the scanners, seeing if I'm seeing anything move right now. And let's take a look here. All right, I got JTAI. Let's take a look at this. This just popped there about 15 minutes ago. I like that 450 recovery. Let's see if we can come after this name and take an action trade right now in the morning. This is how I find them. So a lot of times I'd be looking for a 9 EMA touch. We already got that 9 EMA touch where it went down there towards 430s. Look at the recovery already. I missed this one already. I can tell you guys I missed it, but look how it comes back. This is what I like, guys. So if you use that 9 EMA and you attack that 430s pullback after the first rip to 5, right? It tries to get through 5, comes back all the way to 430s, and now you're going right back to 5. Now you could look for the breakout above 5 here, or like I would be doing, selling some here probably at the 490s, looking for the pop through 5, and look at that bad boy go. We just watched that. This is exactly how I find them. I go in my scanner, I scan it up, look at it right here at the top. That's the top scan right there. Top name, JTAI. I take a look at it. Boom. I take a look to first see if there's volume. Have we had a nice little rip? And have we pulled back? Because if there's no pullback, I'm not getting in. There it is, guys. Look at that move to 512s, 520s on the offer. We'll look to see if JTAI can keep going. It was just at 450 when we took a look at it. There it is, 50 cents higher. Not a bad trade. You know what 50 cents is? That's 11%. Some people don't get 11% in one day. There you guys have it. You guys, breakdown of JTAI live in front of you guys. All right, we'll see what happens on this one. Wasn't able to be fast enough on this one. And the big thing is I came to it like, 1 or 2 minutes late. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. Look at that bad boy pushing 520s. Can you get through it? This is your wall. This is your problem area, 550s. So 550s would be an area where it's struggle, but there's a seller lined up there and not much in the way in between that. So what do you want to see? Some stacking on the bid. See how this bid is at 465? That's not going to help. That's what causes those quick pullbacks to the 480s. What you want to see is a nice little stack right about here in the 98s, $5 area, and then really taking the 5. So there it is. There's the stack, right? So this is what I just talked about. I'm breaking it down for you guys, the price action. And what's going to stop it? Right here, this stack. So you got to wait till 511 shows up and see if we get through that. You could also take a look at on the time and sales to see if you're getting any sales closer to that kind of block that you're seeing right there on the level 2s. We'll see if we get back there towards the 511s and can get back through that, right? You're seeing this $5. There's not much there. I'd be looking at that 511 to see once we get back to 5 right here on the highs, like as you've been going back there towards 520s, if you get through that, you look good. If not, pullback could be coming back to the 9. All right, guys, we'll continue going. I'll take a look around in the market. We'll take a look at different stocks out there. And we'll take a look at some other ones, right? The main account, we'll talk about that bad trade in a little bit there. But SINT was the name this morning that I was able to make a good trade on the first action and just didn't get back in it on the second move. So I traded this first move action that was kind of like this recovery at 6 a.m. You guys can see it here. Was able to make a decent amount. I got it at 493 when we were recovering 4. Sold it at 430, but it wasn't really the biggest move, right? Because that was this move right here. I sold it when it was starting to turn around right about here. And then it came back underneath 4. I was looking to get back in right here on this candle where it went to 420s, and I had an order out at 410 to get the pullback entry. Did not get that entry, and it just took off, baby. It went to $5 really quickly, and then eventually to 6. So I had the opportunity to make a bigger trade. Still made a decent sized trade. I think what it was also trying to get picky with the entrance there at 410. I could have hit the 420s, but I needed to risk 20 cents there and a little bit of a battle, right? It's never going to be just one way, but one thing is for certain, I'm looking to try to nail trades just like this. So the idea is in the morning, you got to see it, what? 1, showing up on the scanner. 2, you want to see some little bit of pullback action, right? And watching, oh, here's JTAI on that 511s that I just talked about, and watch how it reacts there. You see how it went from 511 to 490s in a second. That was the sellers coming in there. Back down she goes. Now you'd look at if it could go back to that 511, and you can see it's jumping all around right now. So just be careful with this JTAI. This one's a hard one, and a lot of quick volume coming into it. You see how the volume increased here? Another thing, another sign that could be a bad sign is when you're getting a lot of volume at the top end of the range, it could also mean that that you're running into some selling and some profit taking. So some profit taking came in there. Now you're getting the test right back up there. So they got washed on that. Let's see if they go and they just take it through that again. And another area where it's fighting resistance right here. 515s, boom, right back down, some more profit taking. So that's how it goes sometimes. We'll see what happens here on JTAI. Let's go back. SINT was an interesting one. We'll see if this one can continue lifting today. Let's take a look at the overall market. We'll go to the sunrise report. We'll take a look at what's happening out there. But this morning, all-time highs, baby. Where the bears at? They got to go in the cave. And if you guys see me get bearish, I might have to get in the cave myself. Because I've paid the price a couple of times the last couple of weeks. And that's just how it goes. You got to be quick, man. And this morning, holding company really costed me. Find out more about that mistake coming up here. But let's talk about some good action. What's going on in the market today in today's Sunrise Report? Guys, pinkies up out there. The sunrise is out. It's time to make some money, guys. The S&P at all-time highs here, despite inflation worries, right? Trump is floating around 25% tariffs potentially here, coming in on auto, chips, and pharma. Of course, market is still pushing higher on this, but it can only be a matter of time before the market starts to reflect some negativity about these tariffs. For the time being, I think that there's just this underlining kind of euphoria that we're in. We're in a bubble environment, I feel. I know that some people don't agree with this, but the way that I think it is that you're going to continue to see this euphoria come in. And if anything, we need to go to that kind of blow off top stage. I don't even think we're there just yet. I think we have potential to drive this market in 2025 early on and then run into a tough later part of the year. So the early part of the year could be where we get the gains. And right now, we're not looking too bad. Yes, we had some sideways action, but we could start breaking to the upside. Of course, housing starts came in. They were due this morning. Let's take a look at that action. I'll tell you guys more about that. But today, also, keep an eye out on the Fed minutes. This is a big watch. It'll be coming out at 2 p.m. Eastern, right? So you guys can catch that right on the Fed website. Throw it into your own AI, right? Get your own summary. Take a look at the action there. It's going to be very important to look at conversations on rate cuts. Will they even think about it, right? Are they worried about inflation? Because a little bit of worry, of course, and no one's really talked about this, is what if they were to get scared about inflation to the point where they needed to raise rates again? That's where the real concern could come in, right? That's where the flip on policy could happen. What you want to be looking for is what is going to happen in the policy, let's say 3 months, 6 months out, right? So that's why there's so much questioning of Jerome of what's the pipeline tell us? Like, what are we going to? Well, the truth is they don't even know because the tariffs aren't completely established yet. So it's almost impossible for them to understand inflation and how it's going to happen or not happen in the next couple of months because of the decisions that are being made right now by the administration. They don't have access to that. So all things right now that you need to be watching for and catch certain conversation in the minutes to give you some more insights on how different Fed members feel. All right, we'll keep going, guys. We'll see what happens on that. But I don't really expect too much. There could be a negative comment about inflation that could maybe scare the market a little bit, but it's nothing that it's too scary right now. All right, let's move over, guys. Let's go to the Toll Brothers action, and we'll take a look at Toll Brothers, and we'll go to the home builders here. Toll Brothers, definitely one to look at. And wow, JTAI, just to peek at it, it's still buzzing out there, guys. I hate trading these right before the open, but look at that, right back towards that 513s. And as you do that, well, there you go. Look at it on the 1 minute. It was a beauty on the 9 EMA. This is why I use the 9 EMA, that light blue line that you see there. That one works great on momentum stocks. So you can watch for pullbacks on the 9 for pullback entries. You can also use it for exit signals. Close below 9 can tell me to get out. If it keeps going, well, we can also sell when it gets extended away from the 9, like you're getting here. Extension away gives us opportunities also to sell and buy on the pullback. I'm not the only one doing it. I'm sure the algos have that planned in already. That's why it's so pretty there. All right, let's get back to it. Toll Brothers here as we look at the home builders, and we're keeping a very close eye on this situation because the housing situation is not as strong as it was. If you take a look at the daily chart, these names are starting to come down, and even the estimates are not looking as hot like they were last year, right? I mean, all things to kind of keep an eye out for. But hey, last year around this time, what did we get? We got a 225 on EPS. Now we're getting an estimate of 196. All right. So, well, let's get the numbers that we got here. Let's talk about it. So EPS came in here at 175 versus a 204 estimate. So I had a little updated estimate there. So big miss there on the EPS. Revenues at 1.84 billion versus a 1.91 billion estimate. So home deliveries are falling short. And this is really a scary sign, because there's one thing that I can tell you guys I've seen in this market, and I've seen it all around. What have I seen? I've seen a lot of building going on. I can show you guys, and I need to take a boots on the ground approach to this. But if we look around, we're seeing this oversupplies of new homes built, yet the home deliveries are going down. Why? Because the interest rate is being watched. Home buyers want interest rates to come down some so the affordability can make a big impact. Did you guys know that even just, let's say, a 0.1 of a percentage point could make a difference of an impact of like $300 on your mortgage? Well, that's a big impact of, let's say, if we bring it down 0.5, right? Now we're talking what? A big amount of money, right? So keep your eyes on it here, guys. I think we need to watch the situation overall to see what's going on in the home builders. Are we going to see some downside? But this is longer term talk. Nothing that I think you need to be worried about right now. I think another way to look at this is take a look at the ETF, NAIL, right? There's NAIL, which is the home builders and supplies. And this is one that's a leverage, right? You got the 3X, right? So I think this is one that you got to continue to watch and see how it broke down, right? Look at the weekly. This was very strong, and now rejecting. This tells us more and more there could be some further downside in these names. And it even puts a little scare in me in a name that I thought was kind of looking really good, which was Carrier Global Corp, right? It looks great on the chart, but I don't know, man. Maybe this one could come back. We'll find out. Keeping an eye out on all these names out there. But Toll Brothers definitely coming in with disappointing earnings. Let's go to Bank of America. Actually, we're going to Capital One. Let's go to Capital One here, as Bank of America is upgrading Capital One. Of course, as they did their kind of acquisition, their pending Discover acquisition, and multiple catalysts ahead. This thing just continues to beat right now and continues to win. If you look back on the daily, look at the rounding bottom that you had on this thing. And then you kind of have like your cup and the handle now. I think this is still looking good to continue to the upside. So I know that sometimes it's hard to trade names at all-time highs, but the truth is this is looking good, strong name, and could continue higher. It's in a tight kind of sideways pattern, had a fake out to the downside, which is something that we're looking for. And now you're starting to try to break to the upside. I think it's very important that you held that pullback. So I think this has to continue to hold that pullback. So it can't break today, let's say, back through this support on the left-hand side on the hourly, which is a 201. But if you can hold 200, maybe Capital One could be back at 210, 215. We'll find out, guys. Nicola is yes, bankruptcy is imminent. Yes, finally. Of course, Milton is I think not in actual jail anymore, but he should be in jail. I mean, this thing was a complete fiasco, and they fooled GM. Yeah, they fooled General Motors. I forgot who kind of did that deal, but I'll tell you what right now, whoever did that deal in GM is probably no longer with GM, because that was a horrible deal, man. Good morning to you guys out there. How we doing, Trader Plaid? How we doing, Angelo? It's good to see you guys. Keep throwing up some stocks that you guys are checking out this morning. We got a lot to talk about here. It's, of course, Trade the Pool, and we got so much more going right here, guys. Don't need to go anywhere. Let's keep it moving. Take a look at what else is moving in the market this morning. Of course, we got another news here. We got a buy on Stanley Black & Decker. Yes, SWK. You don't hear about this stock mentioned often, but take a look at the weekly. Sideways, yet there's starting to be big bets. And how I can tell? Well, the volume change is really starting to show me something. And I think this is one that you watch on the monthly. So you kind of wait to get above that 100 to really show you the strength. But if it can do that, we can start to climb back. So I think this is one that definitely, you've had your sideways action. I don't want to play it until I really start to get out of this sideways action. Maybe you're looking at the monthly to the left, but that's just a little too early for me. Definitely they're trying to get this going here. But the outlook wasn't too bad. They just see a shift from turnaround to organic growth in the second half. But a price target of 103 is an 18% upside. We'll see if it can start making the move towards that 100. All right, next one up, Bumble. Bumble, yes, the app where the women make the calls out there. And we'll see what happens with this one. Turnaround from the $10 tells me this is not looking good, guys. And this tells us that maybe Match also taking a hit on this, guys. This has already taken a big beating. Take a look at Match Group where it was in 2021 compared to where it is in 2024. It is just getting destroyed, guys. And it's not looking good here. We'll see if this can turn around, especially seeing names like Bumble not doing well. Doesn't look good for the Match Group or the mid stock. No, I just hate when they call it that. But I know why they do it. We'll see what happens here on Bumble. Big cut down. Could be going down to this gap. This gap right here seems to me like a nice target on the downside. So $5. Oof, watch out, guys. Katie barred the door. It's already hitting down there. And weak Q1 guidance, revenues at $242 million and $248 million. Something definitely not to be like bragging about, with an estimate at 256. So they missed there by like pretty much 12 million. I mean, it's a pretty big miss there. Adjusted EBITDA here at 60 million to 63 million versus a 68.8 million. Not looking good here on Bumble. But let's talk about one more here. What about Jim Cramer? Yes. Bye. The man himself's calling out the Disney. Yes, Disney, guys. Yeah, I'm actually looking at Disney myself. I've been looking at it for a little while now. It hasn't wanted to go into the gap zone. The sell area has been the 120. The buy area has been the 85. What do we do now? Do we finally change this tune? This is why it's so important to look at monthly charts, guys. Because if you look at the monthly charts, what do you see? Selling up there at 120s, buying at the 85s. Until we break that, we're not really in a bullish trend. But if Kramer's trying to push it and says it's a bargain, says the stock deserves more credit for a strong quarter, watch out. Watch out there. We'll see what happens with, of course, the flip-flop that could be Jim Cramer. All right, guys, you guys in the chat, let me know what you guys are taking a look at this morning. It's good to see you guys. Mike, what's up out there? Trader Prad, what are you watching this morning? And, of course, Jay Angelo, what do we got in the house, man? What are you guys trading this morning? Let's get after it. We got to get a lot more of you guys in here. Hit the like button. Let's keep it moving. I'm going to have to put it up there, get that retweet going here. Let's go ahead. Let's get that moving here. All right. Excited. Later today, guys, of course, I want you guys to already give him a good following before he even comes on. So I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to add my man that will be joining us in a little while here, Andy Moss, of course. You guys check him out, Andrew Moss, CMT. And I'll tell you one thing, man. This guy puts out so many charts that are just gold for traders out there. If you're interested like me in just seeing perspective, looking into the market, someone that really works on their craft, check it out, traders. Check it out. Later today, he'll be joining us at like 10:30. We have other traders also that will be joining us, guys. We got a lot to get going today, guys. So looks like Alex, one of my traders that was going to be joining us, is having some issues. We'll try to get him back on to get it working there. But we got a lot more for you guys. We got to keep it going. Keep it going. Money to be made out there. Let's go ahead. Let's get this retweet out there. Boom. Posted, baby. Let's make some money. All right, guys. Let's take a look here. What do we got? What do we got? All right, Disney looking good here. Let's see if we can keep it moving, guys. I'm going to put myself on the bottom corner today as we started off. Show you guys a little bit of a different screen. Let me know if you guys enjoy watching this screen a little bit more than our other screen. It makes the chart a lot bigger. Let's go through some of the stocks out there. You guys, this is your chance. Ticker time. Ticker time. Throw in those tickers. If you're watching on X, well, you can join too. Just click on the stream. Click that stream right now. Then in the comments to the right-hand side, just drop them in. I'll catch them here, guys. What's up? What's up? F in the chat. What's up? What's up out there, guys? Hey, Money Mitch, what's going on? Good luck to the day. Shorting Intel. Ooh, Scotty. That layout looks familiar. Wonder where I've seen that one. Which one? The smaller one? This one? We got so much, my friend. All right, guys. There's still a lot more. We could do this one too. Look, I could play around. I could throw myself anywhere. Let's do it. All right, let's take a look around. Let's see what we got here. All right. So there's a couple of names right on the radar, and just to kind of bring up that Intel trade, I think it makes sense to kind of get the short towards 25 today. We'll see what happens, but this one's hot, guys, and it could stay hot for a little while now. And it's funny because AMD was supposed one of those names that was going to have a hot year. Still hasn't had a hot year, but don't forget about it, guys. Don't forget about AMD, because I'm still watching the monthlies, looking for the monthlies to change. And sometimes you just got to do this. You just got to erase everything. Start all over, guys. So we'll see what happens with this. Let's see where the RSI is on the monthly compared. But I'm just taking a look at it. I like to do this sometimes, just taking a brand new approach on the chart. So somewhere in between this 100 and towards 160, acting as a prior resistance up there, right? Well, let's see if we can make our way back here towards this support, right? Can we come back towards, let's say, the 140 range? That's still a big move, right? That's a big breakout. I think we got to continue watching this long-term trend line, right? This is a long-term trend line. It's been trying to break it. And now you're starting to get above it. Can we have a good day for AMD? Can we have a day where it comes and kind of fills the gap here and really kind of pushes through, going towards the 120? I think that's what we got to keep an eye out for. Not a bad one to keep watch here, guys. Well, I'll keep an alert around the 119 area, but definitely something to watch here. Let's keep it moving. Let's see what else is out there. We got some trades, right? Layout overload. Let's go. What do you got out there? I like the Intel short idea if it was higher in the pre-market. I agree. I would like to see it do the blow-off top look where you can catch some traders at the open and be near that pre-market high. I'm watching SMCI for a short. And is that WRD? Yeah, WRD, right? Yeah, WRD. We'll take a look at those two trade ideas. Let's go to SMCI really quickly. SMCI, of course, an absolute monster ride the last couple of days. And my friend did buy it. One of my friends did buy it. I know the trader Pad was also trading it, and a lot of traders trading this. I can't do it, guys. I feel like this company was so scummy in that downturn that sometimes I just get this idea that I can't get over it. And if I can't get over it, I'm not just going to completely flip on my idea. I'm just going to leave it alone, not trade it. Because I always think that we could make this ugly move down below 30s. Even though this chart has pretty much bottomed. I mean, it doesn't look bad technically wise. Technically, it's still looking great. But we are extended away from the Bollinger Bands. We're extended away from the 200. We're extended away from the 9. Yeah, at some point, this SMCI can crack. But, I mean, look at Palantir. And there's no reason it has to crack, right? I mean, this thing has been extended also, has been ways away from the Bollinger Band, but still stays up on the top end. We'll see what happens. JTAI that I just talked about just a little while ago. We watched it make the move from 450 to 5. Look at it now. 550s. And what did it do? Held those 9 EMAs, guys. You see it. No one candle really kind of closing underneath that. Nice little fake out there right there. But man, holding really well. That JT AI. All right, we'll see some other names out there. And I almost got this, man. It was at 450, but I don't like trading them right here at the 8:30 time. I like these more at the 6:30 time, just to kind of really kind of talk about that. All right, Archer, of course, one of the stocks to keep an eye out for. We'll see what happens out there. I'm watching it to see if it can get back above 11 today. Something tells me that we're going to get a pullback at some point this week. I just don't think it's going to be today. We got to find out. We'll see what happens here. Apple, another name to keep an eye out for, right? There's still talk of that new product, right? When's that new product coming out? Things that I need to be thinking about there. That new product should be coming out soon. So keep your eyes on that, guys. I know I posted it. Let me go look back. I know I talked about it on my Twitter. But another one to watch for today, Fold is going public. So keep your eyes on a new IPO stock, Fold. One that could have some crypto focus, right? And I think that's it's a crypto kind of finance app, something that I'm looking into. But I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that. And of course, Money Mitch gonna give you the alpha. Watch Apple today, guys. Apple, Wednesday, February 19th. What's today? That 19th Apple launch, baby. So keep your eyes on Apple to keep the market going this morning. And if you're looking at it this morning, it's already kind of lifting here. Let's take a look at Apple. Let's take a look at what we could make a move on here. But don't forget this, guys. Money Mitch trying to give you guys the alpha. Take a look at what's happening. Ha ha ha. Trader Prad, you know it, my friend. So yeah, I'm going to be watching Apple today, guys, to see if this can go higher. It went higher yesterday in the last couple of days. Buy the rumors, sell the news. Well, it already kind of worked, right? This was giving us pretty much last week. And look at the move already. And I talked about, could Apple start to come back there towards the 260s? It was hanging out down there and filled the gap. I mean, hey, this is looking pretty good here, guys. I think you got to continue to watch it today. It could have a quick move, right? I think this is one to watch to see if it goes back towards the 245s and makes a move towards the 245.50s. We'll see if it can break towards maybe 247 out the gates. We'll find out. All right, this is Apple. And, of course, we'll take a look at some other names out there. Do have a trader that's going to be joining me today. So I want to go ahead and bring him on here before the bell. Let's go ahead. Let's bring on the man himself, Alex, in the chat here. What's up? What's up?
What's going on, Mitch? How you doing today, buddy?
It's good to see you, my friend. It's good to have you join here. First, tell us a little bit about yourself, Alex. Tell us a little bit about, I know that you got the funded account, right?
Yes, I do. I do have the funded account, the mini buying power account, and I'm currently working on the 160,000 account right now. So that's a work in progress, and it's definitely a different feel for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. I have the funded, the limited, and I've been battling that 160 also. I get pretty close. I've even gotten within like $100, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Tough.
I think
it's tough.
I think one of the important things is you just trading like you always do, right? And I think that's the important thing, is that sometimes we can get in this kind of risk adverse mentality, right? And that's never going to really help us, right? We got to be able to make decisions. But of course, with the funded limited, you have been able to make some decisions that have done you well. We'll take a look at some trading action, and feel free if you have any setups you're looking at today.
Sure.
Hey, welcome to the show, man. You can hang out here as long as you want today. We're going to talk to some different traders. You guys in the chat, if you guys have any questions for Alex, feel free. And like always, focus on your trading, right? I can handle the main conversation. At times, if you just want to go ahead and just kind of focus on execution, go ahead and do it, man. Because the truth is, I want to see you succeed today, man. I want to see you kick some ass, man. So it's good to have you on today. We'll be taking a look. Any like stock that's maybe a trade idea that's already on your radar?
You know what? I have probably too many, so I need to just go through and whittle it down to just a handful, right? We know that's very important. You can't be watching everything all at once. but
Yeah.
the market's hot, and there's a lot of opportunity out there right now.
Love to hear it, man. And of course, yeah, we'll be looking towards you a little bit out after the gates to see what's coming up on the radar here.
Right.
All right, we'll see what else is out there. Do you trade more like kind of like big caps, small caps? What are you interested in?
For the early parts of my trading, I was trading a lot of small cap.
Mm-hmm.
And I still do, but I've sort of started to incorporate a little bit of mid cap, not so much large cap. I've dabbled a little bit, but started to get into the mid cap a little bit, and it's going well. Still a learning process, and they definitely trade a lot differently than the small cap stocks with the really small floats and whatnot. But yeah, so far so good, and just going to keep learning and improving.
Well, you're at the right spot, my friend. That's one thing that we try to keep it honest. We try to keep it real with you guys, showing you guys the wins and the losses. Like I always say, there's not too many streams where you'll watch where they actually give you this on the left-hand side, where you're able to see buys, you're able to see what I'm making. And a lot of people, especially this kind of filled order one, you just don't see given often, and there's a reason why, right? I mean, at the end of the day, anybody can post out there. I've made a nice Lamborghini this weekend, but I want to see how you made that Lamborghini.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the Lamborghini. I've seen plenty of Lamborghinis, man. I've gone down the Beverly Hills or down in South Beach, Miami, and trust me, the hotels are full. They're there. The key is when can I own one, right?
That's it. No, I really appreciate what you guys do over at Trade to Pool. Of course, being transparent.
Archer giving me an alert here. I'm taking a look at this because I want to grab this before 11 right now.
Archer Aviation.
Let's see if I can get a little piece of this right here and just see if we can break 11 before the open here. So trying to go ahead and get a little piece here before 11. I'm going to put it out here right there on the bid. There you go. I got filled there on the bid. So I'm long on this one, guys, and this is the funded account, the limited, already making a little trade this morning on SINT, about $34. One thing that I've been noticing is I have been a little bit risk adverse even on this account, and not pushing the risk, and that's okay too. But you're not going to make much reward if you can't push the risk either, right? So you got to find that sweet spot, right? And as I went to the funded stage, of course, so one of the things I wanted to do is just first get a lot of trading underneath your belt. Feel like you get the feeling back of, okay, like I'm just back at my game, and then going to start swinging a little bit more, right? So that's the main thing. And once you make that step up, you really got to stick to it, right? Stick to the risk and reward that you're setting yourself. That's where a lot of traders get it hard, where, hey, yeah, it's okay if you start smaller, but once you step up, there's no I stepping up, step back down, step up, step back down, because that's not going to help. We got to try to find some kind of consistency. It doesn't need to be the exact dollar point. That's another thing I like to talk about often, is that sometimes traders get too like, well, I need to risk $50 a day, and they only risk 50 exactly on every trade. That's not necessarily also the best thing. It's also looking at the stock itself. How's it trading, right? How's the volatility, right? Where is the support? If the support's at $40, why am I risking $50, right? Things like that, right? What matters is more the chart sometimes. You got to have some kind of subjectiveness in day trading, especially. Swing trading is a little different, but in day trading, we're here for short-term opportunities and trying to make cash, right? So
that's it.
Let's keep getting after it. We'll see what happens here on this Archer. Another thing to think about is, and this is something that I've been trying to even make improvements on, is entry where stop should be. This is the quote that I think a lot of traders need to start using more often, right? Think about where your stop would be and try to make that your entry, right?
That's it.
It's a good analysis and a good way to catch yourself on buying the highs, right?
Nobody likes buying the highs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just how it goes sometimes. All right, guys. So let's see if this Archer starts going. One of the things is whenever I'm trying to take a trade like this is right before the bell. I want what's called instant gratification, right? I'm looking for the trade to start working and working fast. If it isn't, well, cutting it, right? Cutting it makes sense. My man, Michael Noss. Do you guys know that guy, Michael Noss? I think we know him, right? That guy. That guy, Michael Noss, guys. Of course, Michael will be joining us in just a second here. He's out on another show, but why not get some wisdom from my man, Michael Noss, this morning and yesterday? He put out, don't sleep on time stops. And I think this is so important, guys. Time stops. What's a time stop? So essentially, everyone knows about stop losses, right? But, one of the things that I think a lot of traders forget about is that there's ways of trading different, right? I'm going to have him explain a little bit more about this when he comes on. I don't want to give too much away, but it has more to do with thinking about your time frame of your trade, right? And when do you want it to fulfill by that time, by a certain amount of time? Traders, sometimes they give themselves an unlimited amount of time for the trade to go green. And to tell you the truth, the longer that you're in the trade, the longer you're exposed to risk. This is something that I think a lot of day traders need to remember. As position traders, let's say long-term traders, well, they're expected to be in for a long time, right? But as a day trader, we're looking for short-term opportunities. So if it's not coming in the short term, why are we still in, right? Yep. So, and there's times where you got to take a small loss there.
Yeah, you can take a small loss, and then if the trade comes back and it starts working in your favor and your thesis
if it works,
playing out,
it'll get that money back, right? It'll get that money back. It'll come back to you. I think that's where a lot of traders sometimes they get too, I can't see red. I can't see red. This is why some traders hide P&L, right?
Yeah.
Hide this money, right? I used to do that for a while. I think it's an important thing to think about traders also. It might make sense to not have this, right?
Yep.
To just have where my entry price is, open price, right? So you can even take out the net P&L here and then just not look at that, right? I think that's also another way that you can do this, guys. You guys can also just kind of look at this, right? You right click on one of these and you can take it off, right? I could just be like, okay, no net P&L. So now I have my open price position, right? And the current. That's all I really need to know, right? I mean, usually it's simple math from there. So I think that's another thing to think about for you traders that are new. Hey, maybe I don't want to see P&L, or maybe I want to see net P&L only in percentage. That's another thing to think about. So you can adjust it to percentage. I hope that is teaching you guys something out there, because this could be something you can look into. How can I do my P&L as more of a percentage than an actual amount?
The dollar value. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just to touch on that, the time stop thing that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
There's a lot of setups that happen in the morning when it's volatile, and then there's a lull in during the midday, or there's chop in the midday, and then there might be another setup in the afternoon. So if you have a morning setup that you're trying to trade, and then you're holding it into the afternoon, well, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Your setup has already come and gone, and if you're still holding it, like you said, you're just exposing yourself to more risk now.
Yeah.
When your opportunity has come and gone.
Yeah, and it's also about opportunity cost and time. And I think about this all the time, especially as of course I got twins and I got to focus on my kids also. Yep. There's time for trading. There's time that I don't want to spend it trading, right? And that's the main thing about trading too. It's not also to get obsessive about candles where you watch every single candle all day long.
From 4 a.m. until 8 p.m.
Dude, there's the traders out there. We all know one. Yeah, we all know one, dude. And then they're studying after the market, right? And I'm like, dude, you're just going to get it just like this analysis paralysis, right? Yep. Yep. And that's one of the things that I think it's okay to test. It's okay to do things, but try to come in, make your trade, play your game, and then get out, right? Get out, right? Because the idea is, like I say, trade the pool. We're all getting in the pool today. The question is, who's coming out with me?
Yeah, that's right. Who's coming out with the green?
Yep, because that's the truth, and that's how it is. When you play this game, this market game, that's how it is. We all are getting in a room with a bunch of money. The question is, who's fighting their way out, man? Because some people are not going to make money today.
Nope.
And if we want to be one of those people, well, we got to be sharp. We got to be sharp. All right, the dogs are barking out there. You know it, my friend.
They are alive and well today.
All right, yeah, I know the life, man. So no worry about it. Let's keep it going. Let's take a look at what else is moving out here. Seeing another stock. Another thing I like to look at is percentage relative. CMMB. Let's see if there's actual volume on this. So like always, I take a look at stocks to see what they show up on the scanner, but then I want to see the volume, right? So this very low volume, right? It had volume in the after hours yesterday, and you pulled back, right? So this is why it's so important to look at these hourlies. This had a high of 272. It's back at $2. This would need to move a decent amount before I even look at it. 220s, which is about 8%. So we'll see what happens on this one. But still got a piece of Archer here, watching the action here on Archer. Let's see if Archer can get moving here, because at the point of open, I don't want to be in this. That's my time stop, guys. 9:29. If it doesn't start moving through that 11, going to the 11:50 here, well, I'll probably cut it and look to just get back in, right? No need to stress here about it too much. I'm just looking to see if it doesn't do that dip to 1070s. I don't want to be a part of the opening red action. I'm just trying to see if it gives it that quick move back towards like 1120s. Then I can hang out here off of my stop on the open. So we'll see what happens there, what we can come up with. And you guys in the chat, what stocks are you guys watching for out there? What are you guys looking at? QQQ long, we'll see what happens out there. SEDG, a monster. Yeah, that one's a little bit crazy out there. Solar was moving a lot, so we'll see what happens with Intel and different names out there. I know Scotty's shorting Intel, going to be catching that. And we'll take a look at some other trades. If you guys got anything to take a look at, keep throwing them up in the chat. I'm looking around. SINT now starting to make a move here. We'll see what happens with this one. This was my one that I made this morning and should have been able to make some more cash. Just didn't get the fill. And, one of the things is when you don't get the fills, you can't be upset. It's about trying to make the right trade. And you know what I mean? You put out the order. You don't get the fill. It happens, right? You just let it go.
Part of trading.
Yeah, and sometimes giving yourself a pat on the back because I was on the right stock, right? And I think I did it. I played it right? I sold it on this first rip. Then it came back to the 4. I didn't want it to come back to break even, so I just took at least some cash, gave it the chance for the breakout. And when it came back, just being a little picky off that 420, tried to put out an order at 410 for 10-cent pullback to then risk off of 4, right? That's how it can be. Boom. There's the move. Now holding 5. So let's see if we can go to 6 and above. I think one of the things this one could do is still pull back to 4. So just got to keep an eye out to see if we're going to make that move or get some red action here out the gates. Another big mover today, guys, ORSH. There's the other ticker. I forgot it. There's these two holding companies that were making big moves, and one of them cost me a lot on the other eval account. So hey, it is what it is. But just be careful with those holding companies, guys. I've been seeing plenty of names that have been pretty tough in that space. Here's another one. Here's one that I haven't heard of. GPUS. It's hyperscale data. So it has a good name. It's in the aerospace and defense. It's been around for a long time, but look at the splits on this thing. Holy moly. This thing makes you want to laugh, man. We'll see what happens here. It's 925, finally starting to get in the green there for Archer. We'll see what happens if I can get an actual push. But this GPUS, man, what the heck, man? Holy moly, the splits on this thing has been absolutely insane. You can tell because you scroll back, and I don't think it's ever getting back there to 2 million.
Maybe a couple.
The split adjustment. Yeah, the split adjustment's crazy. Because I mean, when you do a 1 for 300, yeah, you just pretty much swave it goodbye.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. That's not one that I'd put on the radar. CYCU. I think this is the one that, this is the bad boy. This is the one that this is those holding companies, those new companies. Be careful with these guys. They look great on the charts. They break down like no before, and the liquidity is really
atrocious.
Atrocious, guys. And they're just trying to get you on the tape, man. I watched this thing for too long, and trust me, it cost me this morning. Don't be like Mitch this morning. All right, guys, we'll see if we get Archer to start to get this move here. And I'll be taking a look at other names. One of the names that I'm keeping on my radar is QS, guys. This is one I actually like for a longer term trade. I've been watching this for a long time, these kind of SPACs that could start to make their way back. One thing that I think this needs really in the long term is to change their earnings. But I think in the long term, this looks great if it can get back above 6. If it gets back above 6, I think we could be looking at 10 with QuantumScape. We'll see what happens there. And this is, of course, a battery player, SSD batteries, of course. So solid state batteries is something that I think is really going to be a big move for EV. It's the only way to get rid of the range anxiety, so that you can start having, let's say, like 500 miles on these cars, right? Something like that, 500, 700 miles. I think that's what's important. Intel, Scotty says, I'm still shorting Intel. Well, get that money, my friend. Intel heading down fast right before the gates here. There you go, Scotty. Get that cash, my friend. All right, guys, it's getting closer here towards the open, and Archer is right there, guys. We'll see if we get the lift off right out the gates. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm like right here, but it's not doing it for me here, guys. So I'm gonna try to get out on the offer here. Let's see if I can get out on the offer in the next minute here as we get towards like 9:29. I'm giving it a chance to get to the 11s. It's right off of there, but might just have to sell out here on the bid here and just get my break even out, because the truth is I just don't want to be stuck here towards the open. There's a 98. Spread's a little wide there. I'm just going to take it here, guys. Ooh, of course it goes wider. Let's see if I get the fill on the bid here. Order to get out at 93s there. I think we still get the lift maybe at the open, but I just don't want to get caught here. I hate being on a name right at the gates there. So boom, right there as it goes up to the 94. I got it there. I'm out of Archer. You guys see it here, break even. And now it's going to the 11. That's fine here. I was looking to see if I could get the run before the open here. Let's see if we can get the open now and see if we go back here. The hourly is what I was looking at. If it gets back to 11:20, 11:48, that's a big move here. We'll wait and find out. XLO, another name, recent runner that I played. We'll see if this one can make another move. It's back down to $1, so I like that it came down for a little bit. Could start to pop above the 125, so I'll keep an eye out on that one. All right, guys, market's about to open. Let's go ahead. Let's do this, guys. Let's get after it. Let's do what we do best. Focus on your trading, and you guys know what it is. It's time.
There it is. It's time.
Get after it, traders. Get after it. See what you can do today, guys. We'll see what I can do in the smaller stocks, and got to be willing to go to maybe some mid caps also. That's one thing that I need to kind of mix in here, but we'll see what happens. I'm just going to focus right out the gates on the scanners. All right. First up, I see, that's not the biggest one, DRTS. Yeah, DRTS, not looking too bad there. I'm looking around, guys, looking around, trying to find some movers. All right, let's look at the runners here. SINT going to 5, going to 530s. It's topping out a little bit here. Apple straight up out the gates, guys. We talked about it. Would Apple make the move off of the event? It just did that move to 246 right out the gates. Talked about potentially maybe getting up there towards the 247. But we just did kind of that nice little blow off look there. We'll see what happens. SINT now rejecting that 530 look. Looks like a nice short opportunity, but I hate shorting right out the gates on the first day runner. So just kind of waiting here to see what happens. But yeah, could be a nice little fade on SINT.
I got something interesting over here. ALLO just halted into the open.
Oh, boom, boom.
Just halted right into the open.
There you go.
You know, it was
nice.
a runner. It was a runner
nice
yesterday.
3-day. Yeah.
Looks like it might have a bigger float though, so we'll see what happens after this when it unhalts. If there's any continuation or not. Otherwise, it could also end up being a good short opportunity.
SINT trying to recover here on the 520s here. Definitely volume coming in here. It hasn't gone anywhere from the gates. So I'm looking at here to see if it can hold on the 15 minutes back below that 5. Could turn into a short. So I'm waiting. I'm trying to be patient.
Patience is so key.
Yeah, especially on a short, guys. Especially on a runner with a short.
I like to wait till at least 9:45.
At least, right? Because that's when if you guys have been in the market for a while, you've seen the 9:45 turns, the 10 a.m. turns. Somewhere between there's usually a reverse sometimes, a quick sweep of the other move, and so it's tough. If you do play opening action, I think you got to be in that kind of scout mentality, just trying to get in, get out, get out,
in and out. Yeah.
And that's a tough game, man. Let's just be honest.
For me, it sounds stressful.
This is why I don't short right there, because that squeeze mentality on these. Look at that squeeze right there, and it doesn't mean that there isn't someone big shorting at 550 here, because that's what it looks like to me. That's what I needed to hit there. 5 right there, boom. Trying to get in here on the short. Let's see if I can get it. Oh, no fill there. I got close there. I'm looking for a little bounce here.
Yeah, SINT did not like the 550 area.
To me, there's a shorter between 530s and 550s with a lot of wicks there. Wicks can be tricks, right? So
they can.
What I'm looking for is, okay, so the entry that I normally would do here is 5. Where would I put my stop? I'd put it at 520. So I'm looking for some type of pop above 5 to then get hit hard here. So trap some 5 shorts right now, and then see it go down. But you can see it, like I talked about, 5 cut down level was going to be something to be watched at, because it's the 15-minute chart. I think that's where you could see that that's clear support there. And now it's all about, can it recover 5? So that's why I wanted to watch that. And with big sizing that you're seeing coming in at the gates, a lot of volume coming in, you're trapping some buyers through that big move through 550s. And I'm sure some people went big at 550s. That's a tough move there to even deal with on both sides. So there it goes to 5 right there, right on the dot, and now it's starting to reject. Now it's starting to reject the 90s. There it goes. So not going to get the entry there, but that's all right. That's all right, because I think that these are the hardest ones, the shorts. I'll tell you guys right now, they're really tough, man. But there was a setup. It wasn't bad. Now it goes to the 470s. Now I'd be looking, can you short into a halt? So essentially get that first halt, but on the downside. If I could get that move, I'm looking golden here. But we'll see what happens if it recovers 5. That's what I'd be watching for upside action. We'll wait, find out, guys. All right, let's look around in the market. I'm going to go to the scanners here. If you got anything, you can always just let me know, my friend.
All right, sounds good, Mitch.
All right, let's keep it moving. Let's take a look at what else is moving. GCL, one definitely to take a look at. One that I was watching yesterday. This one, nice move out the gates there. Missing this one. It's already to 750s now. I'm looking for a slight pullback here. Below 7 would be an awesome move here. Oof, SINT went down to 460. So it would have been a nice short, right? Let's just be honest. But hey, that's how it goes. It's tough to short those right out the gates. GCL looking really interesting here. Quick pop there to 750s. I need a pullback though. Look at that thing, 775s. Only thing I'm not liking on GCL is the spread. The spread's a little too wide for me.
Yeah,
A little too
20
wide.
cents about.
Yeah, that's too wide. TRNR showing up on the scanner, so I'll just take a look at it. Yeah, TRNR. This actually doesn't look too bad.
Ooh, missed the good opportunity on SINT for a short.
They bounced there. This TRNR looks good here for the $2, but it's just below VWAP here. Let's go ahead. Let's bring on my man, of course, Michael Noss back in the house. We'll have him talk a little bit about the time stops in a little bit. I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I even brought in your video, my friend. I didn't show it because I didn't want to give the gold stuff away, but I teased it a little bit. I teased it.
No, it was a good chat. I was over chatting with some other traders, trying to drag some more people over to the show, and it's going to be good times. No trades yet for me. Are you scalping away here?
I made some money in the morning. I tried to Archer. Archer is on the watch to this morning. We'll see what happens. It's backed. It did that kind of 1070 pullback move. I'm looking for red to green on it. And what is that? The hourly recovery, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at the SPY off the open. We're kind of just hanging out right in the middle of our overall range here. So, nothing super crazy happening yet, but
Tesla looking good.
We are trying here. Go here. We are trying to break VWAP. Now, did you see the big BABA spike off the open? So I think China's got to be in play. I don't know what happened here, but we had some sort of massive surge in the pre-market. Pulled back, and now it looks like it's triggering a little bit higher. So, wild open already. Taking a look at the heat map, SMCI. This guy reported that yes, we're actually going to do we're going to do earnings. We're finally going to tell you what our earnings are, and
dude,
they get
I can't handle it.
8% lift just to tell us that they're reporting earnings.
At least you're like me, Michael, and you're probably like, I just can't trade it, dude. I just can't do it.
No, it's. Yeah, not even that our earnings will be good, just that we've got someone to sign off on the fact that we're not a scam company and you get a 7% lift in your stock. That's not something that I'm super interested in, but it's interesting to see. I am watching Bob, and I did want kind of your opinion here. I know, trading these things intraday can be a little bit hard, but look, looks to me a little bit like your pattern here, right? If we just draw out...
it is, man. It is. That's what it is, man. I like it. I just think it's something that you just gotta be able to set it and forget it type of trade, right? And that's the only way it's gonna work, I think. Looking around, NNE not looking too bad. We'll see if we can come back in some of the nuclear names. That's been kind of just hanging out here at the bottom.
The only little trigger that we almost had was just this Bumble. I'm watching this thing to get back over VWAP. This thing has been an absolute dog of a stock on the longer term chart, but it's kind of doing the thing that we're watching, where we have this pre-market support around 650. We spike down to 620, and then we start to recover a little bit and we start to push up here. So if we can get that reversal and then back through VWAP, maybe just a little bit of short covering on Bumble if someone was short going into this, which probably a lot of people are because the stock's been so bad. Maybe just a little bit of a profit taking on this particular name on Bumble. So I'm going to watch that one. They got to do
Apple looking good, man.
Apple.
It has a product release today, so.
Oh yes, cheap iPhone. I think I read one of their SE models, which are for kids mostly, like or people who just, I guess, want a cheap iPhone. Hang out under VWAP.
I have one of those. All right, and then E recovering a little bit here off the 32s. Doesn't look too bad here. Watching it here.
Yeah, and then E undercut that prior day's low and rally there. And then if we take a look here on, I just want to go through the ETF list just to see what's doing the best. We have UNG actually pretty phenomenal here. Again, full disclosure, I'm talking my book because I'm in UNG. However, what kind of shocked me, and it's because of the CEDG earnings, is solar getting a little bit of a lift here. And that would be very interesting because this name has just been so beaten up for so long, with a high of 120 down to 39 bucks. Might be an interesting sector, an interesting theme to keep an eye on. You know, it's one of those that everybody, as soon as Trump was elected, we had this complete fall apart in solar. Everyone thought that was kind of the end of days. But if we're getting the reversal, and the reversal's kind of happening now, that would catch, I think, a lot of people off guard, just because a lot of people who are reading the news are saying, okay, Trump's in office, Trump is all of a sudden going to be bad for solar. I don't really see that being the case, at least in the chart. So maybe we have this reversal type moment where you know, people, just like China, when they thought China or Trump would be bad for China, you had a massive move there. So solar and solar names is something I'm really interested in, just because everyone hates it.
Yeah, Trump was going off on NASCAR because they wanted to go electric. So I heard about that battle that's going on out there.
Well, you know what? I'm in Canada, and so
Same.
I'm hearing all about Trump and his big decisions that he's been making lately. It's all the rage over here.
Tesla's strong, guys. Strong up move on Tesla today, guys. Holding the 9 EMA there, and I think it has room on the daily here to like the 64s. So there's still some room there. I'd like to see it pull back on the 15-minute chart, but it's looking like it's making a nice move there.
So for just talking about this, because I know we were talking about this yesterday with Steve, that both me and Steve were involved in a swing trade on this. So I'll just go over again. The basic idea here was like what Mitch is talking about. This just might be the theme for the show. This kind of undercut and rally, liquidity grab, bear trap, whatever we want to call it. You can see it here on Tesla. This is a very obvious price, around 350. We sell under it with one big red candle. 2 days later, we're back above. Consolidate for a couple of days, looking like a little bit of breakout. So full disclosure, I bought, again, for me, this kind of craziness, I like to use options. So just some long dated, I forget the exact details, but 6 months away at the money calls. And then just, I can size to perfection, which basically means if it goes to zero, these calls, it's what I'm willing to lose on my account anyway. But yeah, I really like this one for a swing trade. And then, of course, good swing trades usually start with good day trades if you get a good fill there.
How'd that ALLO open up? Ooh, straight down.
Yeah, came right down.
Straight down. We'll see if it can come back off this $3 spot. That's probably about the only place that I could find the risk off of.
Yeah.
It's not a bad one to look at here. I don't mind it here. You just have to have a tight risk.
Yeah, that's an interesting look on that guy. Bumble did trigger, so I did take some of that. Again, the change I'm making this week to my trading is hard targets on the day. Looking for just small account, so $100 a day and walking away. Just because, again, for those who missed yesterday, I did a lot of math on my account, and quite often I was able to achieve that and then gave it all back. So we're done with that. So we're going to just take the trade and kind of move on. At least that's the goal anyway. But yeah, Bumble, again, the idea is that we undercut this pre-market low, and now we're trying to reclaim VWAP. If we reclaim VWAP, the 2-day VWAP is 1 point above. I'd probably target up until a little bit under $7 a share, just because round numbers, we know how the market respects that. And speaking of just the overall market, the SPY is just, it's holding well, but it's just still kind of hard stuck in its opening range. We've been open now for 15 minutes and the SPY has done nothing. So I think we need to some resolution one way or the other. When I was looking at the economic calendar here, we have FOMC is the only thing that happened. We already had the home sales and the building permits, all that out of the way. And the only big announcement we have is FOMC minutes, but that's not till much later in the day. So it's only minutes. So I don't think it'd be huge, because everyone knows what happened. But sometimes we get a little bit of a move and some craziness off of that, and then nothing tomorrow. So the market should be free from an economic point of view to do something, but it's just not doing that yet.
All right, guys, looking at this ALLO setup here off of threes. I want to see the threes get flushed here, and then I'd like to get in. So I'm looking for that flush look here. So that's ALLO. It just cut out of a halt. It was up there to 350. So I'm looking for an attempted move towards the opening action, which is 273. So make a move towards that, give a flush look, wick look, and then a recovery of 3 is what I'm looking at here. Let's see what happens. Now we're in the 290s. Now it's kind of the area where I could start to get in here, but I have to risk like 30. I'd like to see it go to the 280s here, which is some moving averages on the 50 here. So one more attempted wash here, but it's getting close to where, I could take an entry already.
So the SPY is trying, maybe. And this is one of the beauties, I think, of VWAP as a metric. Is right. We know a lot of traders trade around VWAP. That's the strategy that I'm using currently, is to trade around VWAP. And so when you can't move from VWAP one way or the other, it just says, hey, the market hasn't made up its mind yet. People are battling. So I think focusing on these smaller stocks and these crazier stocks like Mitch's is going to be the move until the SPY does something for us.
All right, guys, I'm in here long on ALLO. Did get in a little bit above 3, wanted to get closer towards 3, maybe looking for a 280s attempt here. 270s, of course, is the 273s is the opening action. Risking to there would be about $30 from here. So determining if I'm going to do a 20 or 30s. I've been doing about 20s on the risk here, so I could push it down at least there towards 283 here. Just trying to take a look to see if we can hold 3, get back above 3. And then from there, I can hold off of 3 and look for an up hold. That's what I'm essentially looking for here. It would come back up to an up hold.
That the so does your charts tell you what the halt level is under a certain time, or do you just kind of estimate that?
It could be an estimated look. The idea is like if it went from about 273s to 362, I could just estimate it from here, like about 20 cents higher, maybe in the 380s on that halt, right? So we did go towards 378 all-time high on the intraday action, not all-time high, but intraday high on the opening of that. That's where I'd kind of look to see it get up there, halt, and then maybe open up at 4. But that's just the opportunity, right? And the key here, big return potential and trying to keep the risk in check. Market coming down here. Market coming down here.
Yeah. So here I
I'll
actually
let Michael tell me on that, because if not, the bear comes out of me.
The 2-day VWAP is this yellow line. So we'll see what happens there. That's today and yesterday's VWAP. Again, I always like to zoom out and just look at the daily candle every now and then, just to say, hey, we're still well within inside yesterday's range. So nothing super crazy happened one way or the other. So, and we're bouncing. So who knows with this thing? Wingstop is actually breaking out from the strategy. Again, I keep seeing all these food places from America and I haven't been able to go to any of them.
Prices, man. Prices are why they're going up. Oh, man, they're milking them prices.
Oh, yeah?
Dude, everywhere. Every single thing you can imagine has pretty much in America has gone up twice.
Yeah.
Like imagine like literally like we used to be able to get like a meal like $5, $7. There's no getting a meal. A meal like you'd have to eat Chef Boyardee, man. And even then it might be over $5.
Wow. Yeah, we all got inflation, right? So that doesn't but I guess it's just a little bit crazier there.
Yeah, man. It's just that they brought it everywhere, right? And like let's say like Planet Fitness now. is charging an extra $5, right? So maybe you can look at that stock, right? That's why I bring it up. But it's charging an extra $5 a month. If you think about it, they were only getting $10. So that's an increase of 50% on the margins for them.
That might be an interesting, interesting little play there if that ends up doing that well. Interesting chart too on the long term. Had a nice little breakout of its range. It's pulling back into this pretty pronounced range that it was in for quite a time. Earnings coming up, so let's see how that increase in prices hits them.
We're back above 3 here now.
You're getting a little bit of a curl there on your ALLO.
Yeah, the action's looking a lot better here. Let's see if we can get the lift off now. So at this point, don't even want it back in the 290 spot. So that's kind of the risk. I can tighten the wrist down here, look for the go action. I'm not throwing it out there because that's just showing my hand, but I could risk to like 292. Like right off of that. So,
you know what? I have 291 as the pivot, and it bounced right off of that. So that is a very good
310 looking good here.
Area for risk.
And I can feel the risk adversity in me that I've been having. I tell you guys this because right here is where I normally would add. Right here, because I'm in the green now, right? I'm going to move my limit maybe slightly up, but I could still stay within the risk range. Right, the original risk range. So there's times where I like to add, and it's right off of the point of control if I'm in the green. So it all depends on the timing of my entry, right? But if I'm green, I could add there at that 310. There it goes. Yeah. Now it's starting to get taken.
SPY is trying to recover here. Go here. So we undercut that pre-market low, and now we're bouncing a bit, but again, just right back into this overall range. So just more kind of chop and slop action while we try to figure out how to make up our mind. If we end up just ripping back through highs there, then that was definitely, again, as the kids call it, a liquidity grab, that down candle that's going to get reversed. So I'm watching the SPY here like a hawk, just to see if we're going to get that push, just because that was a quick little snap down that just got bought up right away.
Tesla's continuing. 5-minute candles all green today. Just a heads up. Apple looking good on the 245 break. We'll see if that goes and breaks there. My bigger account, I'd probably be playing some of that Apple. I like it today. I know it's going to be on the radar.
Yeah, do you know the time of the announcement? Because sometimes they get a bit wacky.
I don't think we have a specific time just yet, but I can look to see if I can get any confirmation. It's usually afternoons, 2 p.m. or something like that. If not, it's after hours, but I'll find out.
I think it's later. I think it's at 2 p.m.
ALLO coming back towards 3 here. I can give it 3 now that it's gotten a little bit above here, but I don't want to give it too much room from that 3. So let's say 298 will get me out. That's a $5 risk here for a nice setup. I'll take that any day, right? So I'm essentially risking nothing, a fee here to see if I can get this trade to get into the green here. And it's already been green, so now I don't want to kind of hold break even right now, because if I hold break even, that's why I came back. It's giving me that opportunity. You want out? I'll give you the out. Let's not. I'm staying in, at least myself. Let's see if it starts to make the big break now. I want to see a fast candle up to like 330s.
SPY attempting here, right? Right back. So that flush almost negated. Again, giving people a chance, like you mentioned, to cover or to get out of positions on that dip. The people who didn't, I think, might be rewarded here if we can get back through this VWAP. That's something I'm watching here for the SPY.
Therapeutic stocks, guys. RXRX looking good off that VWAP there. I'm almost at the point of getting out of ALLO because I like the way it looks. NTLA, this is a theme that I talked about this morning that I'm missing myself and need to focus here, at least longer term. You guys know I'm all about the themes. Therapeutic stocks. I talked about it yesterday. I'm talking about it today. Nice breakouts, all VWAP pulling back here. So looking at those to see if they can continue. CRISPR, the leader, even making a nice move here. We'll see what happens with these. Look at the daily charts on these. They're really starting to get hot there, and the volume's coming in. That's why I like ARKK. It's time for Kathy's day in the sun, as I said. We'll see if it can continue.
Would these be in KK or would they be in KG?
They're in. She doubles and triple dips, bro.
Because we talked about G yesterday. It actually looks pretty good here.
She doubles and triple dips, man. That's the thing. All right, guys, set the stop here about $7, $2.96. I'm just like, there's certain times, right? Time stop. We can talk about it, right? We can talk about it with this move. This is an instant gratification move, right? Essentially, I'm looking for this to make the move within pretty much like 5 to 6 minutes from my entry. If it hasn't happened since then, it probably is going to take a longer time to play out, maybe a 15-minute or a 30-minute pattern. And so with that being said, do I want to be in a stock for that long? Opportunity costs, all different things to be thinking about. So I'll kick it to you, Mike, a little bit, talk a little bit more about time stops today. But I think it's something important that you've talked about. And of course, you guys can keep up with all of this on Michael Noss's Twitter, of course, right there on X, guys.
Yeah, so the basic idea and the reason I wanted to kind of make a video about it is that different setups and different strategies should have different hold times. And a lot of people I don't really think use, we all know about protective stops, right? We all know about trailing stops, but time stops is something I don't think people give a lot of thinking to. And someone who is from the swing trading side of things, like very systematic, I backtest everything. I can go through and tell you my statistics and of the strategy going out. There seems to be optimal hold times for different strategies. So for example, my mean reversion ones, you're in and out usually like a week. You want to take them smash and grab and you want to move on, kind of like what Mitch was talking about with this trade. So for swing trading, day trading, I don't think it really matters, but you should have his buddy, I see Prad here, my buddy Prad on Twitter said he's heard it called a shot clock. And I like that as well, as you have, when you enter the trade, you kind of develop, this should start paying me in, just do bars, right? If you're looking at 2-minute bars, say, listen, you got 5 bars in order to start making money, or else I'm moving on, because not only are you, not seeing the move that you initially wanted to see, which is hitting a level and then going, but it's also tying up actual capital and it's tying up mental capital, right? You're focused on something that is not moving, where you could be spending your time looking for something that is. And I find this gets really, really big with people, especially from the swing trading kind of things, where they'll have all their capital tied up, necessarily be hurting them, just isn't doing anything. And they're just like, why not take that money and allocate that and take that time that you're spending looking at that stock and allocate that into something that has a little bit more of an opportunity to move. And by doing this, you're able to have a time. So there's 2 ways to look at this. One, I think having again, that shot clock makes perfect sense. If I'm down on the position, I'm giving it X amount of candles, or if I'm just going to give it X amount of candles regardless. I know a lot of traders that will, especially day traders, noon comes, they hit out of all their positions and they move on. They're saying, if it doesn't go by noon, I'm not interested. That's where the bulk of the move is. But I really like if I'm down on the position, I'm going to give it like 3 candles. And if it doesn't recover, then I move on. And that quite often what will happen is you'll be stopped out at prices that are better than what you would have done if you just let it go. And then again, you can always get back in. But yeah, so just think about that in your trading. Are you holding positions for very long periods of time to then only get stopped out on them later, where you're missing moves in other trades, you're missing places that you should be focused? Because we're all just human. We can only focus on a couple things at a time. So have a time stop for all of your trades. It's something, again, I do from the swing trading side of things that I think I'm going to start implementing as I kind of go on this day trading journey.
All right, looking good here on RX, guys. I'm battling myself not to take another position here. Finally got out there on the ALLO. So we'll look for a nice little undercut here. I would love for this to come back here now towards 11.05 here, or 11 on a cut down attempt on RX. I like the setup. Just needs to come back to the 15.9 EMA around the 10.98, 11. and it'll be looking good there. We'll see if it can do that.
SPY is trying again. So yeah, it looks like
Apple, man. Look at that Apple chart, guys. Looking good now.
Yeah, nice little breakout of this consolidation. That spike off the open, that could have suckered some people in. So if we get back to that move, I'd be interested.
Baba's starting to come back down, guys. Yang's starting to come back up here. So just want to mention that. That's off the VWAP.
Yeah, something's going on with Baba today. Did Jack go missing again? Just massive spike up, massive spike down. Just the volatility off the open on this thing has been insane. You compare that to the SPY, where the volatility has been non-existent. We are just consolidating below this VWAP still. We got to get some sort of move going on here, or people are just going to get frustrated and maybe dump.
All right, getting that RX pullback, keeping an eye on that, looking for the market to stay strong here with some therapeutic stocks. So keeping an eye on those names.
Was it XBI? Would that be?
Yeah,
good
you could look
ETF
into that. It's just genomics. There's a couple of ones that you can look into. For specific, of course, you got ARKJ. Let me take a look here to see some other kind of known ones.
Because that ARKG actually looks really good, which is not something I say often when it comes to looking at especially Cathie Wood names, is that they look good.
I mean, there's a couple of them. NTLA, they look good right now on that pullback. RXRX. Like, it's hard for me not to just be jumping in right now. And they're all looking the same. This is what I mean, like industry-wide move, guys. This is the stuff that I think you can make money on consistently. It's not just one name, right? It's multiple. And when it's multiple, I have the probability to end in the green, right? NTLA. You see how they look almost exactly alike? So I'd be watching names like that, right? And it's a repeated pattern. It's a pullback to VWAP, EXAS. So more expensive stock, $50 stock, but how's this any different than this? Right? It's not. Or this, right? All different price range.
Right, and that should just tell you that there is an underlying bid, and when you see kind of everything move together like that, that is quite often more systematic and institutional, and less just a bunch of retail people who like the stock, right? Retail people that like a stock will buy a stock. Institutions that like a theme, they create their own baskets, right? We talk about this all the time. Is that, if I think XYZ theme is going to work, I'm going to I'm going to trade a bunch of different ones, right? I'm going to
patience, young grasshopper. Patience, young grasshoppers.
Yeah, I'm going to build a basket and then just trade that basket. Because then even if I'm wrong on the individual name, but I'm right on the theme, I can still make money with that.
We're going to make it. We're going to make it. Go make it happen. All right, guys. So I'm looking for that stop out attempt. So the liquidity grabs now in these names. And I'm looking to see that I get the entry off of that, right? So here comes that liquidity grab. I'm looking for those quick moves. I'm looking for volume flowing through, right? And trying to show that it's trying to make the move. Like for NTLA, it would be that 12 move. For RXRX, it's that 11 move. And looking at the market to make sure it just doesn't crumble. It could get hit, but just can't crumble.
Hey, yeah, the SPY is breaking that 2-day VWAP here.
Yeah, it's starting to at least get hit a little bit there.
Just fail, like look at it on failed VWAP, failed VWAP, failed VWAP. Just gave no indication that we're going to actually break and hold for a bit, which is why it's so important that if you're looking for breakouts, sometimes it's best to be a little late to the party and just wait for the thing to wait for the thing to hold, right? It just becomes, the frustration. I can feel the frustration of the bulls here buying these breakouts, and same with the bears, right? That have been chasing this move lower. Because you see, we hit 2-day VWAP and now we're bouncing. So we are just hard stuck in the range. So this would be one of those moments where it's like take a step back, take a deep breath, right? And just, you know, let's wait for some momentum, some volume, something to really get going.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. Looking around in the industries and sectors out there, right? We have, and let me refresh this to make sure that I got the most recent data here. Give me a quick second here, guys. Taking a look to see what's happening in the last 15 minutes, right? So in the last 15 minutes, we have financials leading, communication and healthcare. That's good for my, RX trade. But looking overall, energy, defensive, healthcare, and utilities. Technology actually in the red, down 0.65 today. That might be why we're down, right? I mean, that's a good indication of why we're down. Now, there is other sectors that are kind of holding up the market. I've been taking a look to see if financials can kind of start driving us back there. And technology is only down 0.1 in the last 15 minutes. So looking to see if that could go green and then start to see the reversal come in.
This is just getting funny at this point with the SPY, right? We're now bouncing again back to VWAP. So the bears are getting mad, the bulls are getting mad, everyone's getting mad. So there's just going to be a ripper one way or the other in the market, and then that's going to resolve it. And everyone, is either up or down.
Yanging, man. Yanging, man. How did LI do? Ooh, he's getting hit. Did a little trap to 27 this morning. Trap.
Yeah, a lot of these, and you look at FXI, it needs to cool off here. Like, look at this trend in FXI, all the way to this prior high. None of this surprised me, right? We got to chill out a little bit. We got to take a breath when it comes to what we're seeing here in
MBRX. Alert on MBRX, starting to get going there. Pretty good amount of volume there. Decent move here. If I wasn't focused on R, lift above 2. Daily chart looking interesting. I like this type of pattern. I'd like it more if it touched the 9 EMA today, but hey, it went close enough, so doesn't look too bad there. MBRX.
We are breaking now to the downside, maybe again. Maybe bounced off that 2-day VWAP, put in a challenge of today's VWAP again, and then reversed yet again. So it could be one of those. Here. We could break down here. It's looking kind of breaky down. It's other than that VWAP, we don't really have a massive level to play off of.
All right, guys, RX back down, trying to see it start to make the recovery and take the shot. NTLA, we'll look for it to go to 12 and then recover, try to trap some of the buyers right now. RX, right off of that support there. Now looking for it to recover back through towards the 11 here. Let's see if it can do it.
Oops.
Market dropping fast here.
Yeah, that's what's bringing that up. Oh, and a bounce.
Of course.
The Qs. Yeah, so the Qs are really underperforming here. And that's because if you look at the heat map here, right, NVIDIA is now down on the day. We were joking that SMCI was up like 10% on the fact that they're going to do earnings. That's only up 3% now. Meta and Palantir are now down on the day as well. So a lot of these things, right, if we look at just the NVIDIA chart, was gapping up ever so slightly and then just fell apart completely. Both my Bumble and my Wingstop failed on me here, so we'll see if I can take another swing somewhere else. One more try. 3 loses in a row, and it's definitely time to go on the day. The system's not working out. I need to go through my stats. The longs on these don't seem to work nearly as well as the shorts. So it might be one of those things I just focus on the short side of things with this strategy going forward. Find a different strategy for the longs. SDEG, Solar Edge, is something that I'm watching here. You can see triggered down put in a couple alerts, and now it's just flirting with this VWAP. So this might be the last shot that I take here to see if this is going to just come down and fill the gap here. Just again, shocking that solar of all things is actually doing well in this market. If we look at TAN, the solar ETF, that's actually still up on the day.
Just from like my time in day trading, that's one thing that I see common, Michael, when technology struggles and they want to find somewhere to rotate in technology. For some reason, solar has a tendency of starting to do this momentum move. I think it's almost like I don't know if it's like some type of ETF effect and that they're just going after those names or something, some kind of effect there that happens, guys. And it's a common thing that I see. When I see solar kind of getting this momentum move like it did yesterday, that's usually the sign for me of be careful of the trend change there. So just noting something that I see common. I'm in RX, guys. It's looking good. I want NTLA also, but it's not pulling me back and not giving me the pullback entry fill. So I can just leave it alone, right? I don't have to rush into it. I'll just stay with RX. That's actually working really well for me here. Let's see if it can start to actually break to the upside.
It's a nice look of that kind of undercut and rally there.
And what another thing to think about it is now it gives me the ability to risk actually below those recent lows. And I think that's such an important thing, looking for that type of entry.
Yeah, Etsy is firing off. I don't think I'm going to take my last trade on this one. I just finished saying that I need to look at it, and I think the shorts work better than the long, but Etsy did technically close above the 2-day VWAP or the 1-day VWAP, and we're looking to see if this fades. Looking at the daily chart on this one, it's down at a pretty solid level of support here. So we'll see if this one turns. But I think, again, I'll let you guys know tomorrow. I think going forward, I'm just going to start looking at the short side of these.
Holding company ripping that OSRH, but I can't do it, man. That cost me way too much this morning. So hey, there you guys have it. It is making the move, though. I'll call it. I just won't trade it. RX now looking for it to recover VWAP to add here and take a swing. Looking to see some more of those ARC-G names start to make the move. NTLA now pulling back. It's about to give me the entry. I needed to kind of head towards 12, but it doesn't look too bad on the VWAP there. Pullback. Now I'm getting RX to RX, about to give me the entry to add here, which is the 1120s.
By just continuing that chop, it's now not chopping with the 1-day VWAP, it's now just chopping with the 2-day VWAP. So again, nothing new is happening here. We're just consolidating against this particular zone. So one of those frustrating for people who are trying to guess a direction when it comes to the bigger names, but again, for me, it'd be let's have a solid close above one of these before I'd really be interested in kind of getting involved one way or the other.
Scotty, I hope you were able to nail that trade you brought up this morning on short of Intel. Intel has been pulling back to this morning. It went down to 2550s, back at VWAP there. RX going to the 1124 here, guys. I did not get the ad there. I was kind of taking a look at Intel. As it just broke to 1120s right there. But now looking strong. I'd look for a little pullback. I'll look for like 1115s or somewhere below 1120s for the ad. But we're looking good here. RX starting to climb now. And this is the theme that I wanted to be in, right? And I think that sometimes you got to catch yourself in the intraday with the shiny toys out there that can really catch your eyes with these big runners. A lot of times I'm also trying to find a runner like this in these smaller caps that has an actual theme, right? Like let's say when Quantum was making the move, I was on QUBT through 3, right? That thing went up to what? I think that it went up to like $27. So we were looking at that at $3 break. Why? A theme, guys. It's so important to understand the themes inside the market.
Yeah, and on that 1 minute chart you had of RX just kind of shows what we were talking about with that Bollinger Band squeeze, right? Where things are getting really, really tight there. You got a good entry if they are gonna open up that volatility, right? They talk about that volatility is mean reverting, trend generally not. So it means that, hey, we've had this period of congestion, the market's getting tight like a coiled spring, and right, if you're right, then it's going to hopefully go in the direction of the trend, take a shot there at highs and see what happens there. The SPY is recovering, so maybe this would be the first 2-minute close over VWAP in a while if we're going to get it, or are we just going to back off and just frustrate everybody? Oh, looking like we may hold this time. So from one to the other, to the other, to the other, and maybe a move now. This is why I always keep my eye laser focus in the SPY, because I generally don't want to get too involved until the market can kind of make up some type of direction, have some level to bounce off of, or some break that may occur. What may be happening is just on the longer term chart, is we're just chopping up here at highs. So it may just be that we are just going to consolidate, that we've hit these highs. Now we have to churn through this overhead supply for a while. We've got to get all of the people who are selling up here out of the way, and then we'll make a move. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some kind of back and forth action happening here. There's nothing, maybe after FOMC, but it's just the minutes. So I couldn't be thinking that it's going to make a massive move, but certainly could. So maybe that's what the market's waiting for, but finally looks like it's potentially going to be breaking out of VWAP.
ARKK reversing really quickly. That's a good sign there, guys. And why is it? Because it's being led by two stocks. The two names that I was looking on pullback there, NTLA, RXRX. Then right behind that, Tesla, Moderna, of course, biotechs, right? Biotechs is where we're seeing some strength. Look at CRISPR on that move. So nice little move there. I'll show you guys it right here. Look at CRISPR, NTLA leading ARKK, RXRX, Tesla. Now Moderna taking that push. Now CRISPR, nice little push, right? Like this type of move, when the leader is making that type of move, that makes me confident to hold here. I was even thinking a little bit. I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe just take the cash and run here. But when I can see the leader do that type of move, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I'm seeing that industry-wide move, and it's happening even on a stock that's extended, like CRISPR. So I'd be taking a look at other extended stocks to see if they can stay strong, like Beam, another one in the same space. Can it stay strong? It's recovering there at 34 and looking for it to make the move towards 35. See if it makes that move. Let's go RXRX. Beyond Meat.
Beyond Meat.
The fake meat, the fake profits, baby.
Fake meat. had a day yesterday. I didn't notice
this. Alex, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing over there, man?
I've taken 2 tiny paper cuts, and that's it. That's it today so far.
Hey, feeling the live pressure, man. No worries, man. I'm sure. It's something else, right? It's definitely different to be on stream.
It's a different feel, but I've also been trying to listen to you guys because there's always something I can pick up and learn on.
That's the key. That's what we try to do, man. The little tidbits, right? They could actually help you guys make an improvement. Maybe it's just today. Maybe it's something that you can add to the way that you at least have a perspective on the market. Those things can really help you guys. That's why I say the chat, like, let's just stay positive. Let's keep pushing, guys. Let's try to get to that next level. RXRX trying to get to that next level already, guys, up there towards 1150 now, up about $50 here. Normally I've been taking $60 no matter what. Earlier today I took about 35, trying to push it a little bit. So I'm looking to see what's going to happen here near the high of the day. Are we going to get another pullback? We could easily get a 9 EMA pullback here. I'm just looking for the drive to continue in some of the bigger names here and kind of battling here. Do I take the 50 or do I keep it pushing here?
CEDG is starting to look like this is the one I should have been looking at today. So I think, again, this is the beauty of doing this stuff live, and the reason that even as a guy who wants to systematize all my trading, I want to watch it live, I want to keep an eye on what's going on, is because I've just been noticing on days like today where I went long on these setups, they haven't been working out too well. So now I have an idea. I'll go back and look at my data and see whether or not that idea makes sense. And if it does, then I know just to focus on the short side of this setup. And the idea is quite often, and I think a lot of people get into this trap, and I think it's important to talk about that. They trade the same way, long and short, and they think they just, oh, I've got a short setup, let me just flip it and I'll go long when the thing tells me to go long, or vice versa. And generally not the way it works, right? The market moves down in a different manner than it moves up, right? We all know this, the staircase up, elevator down. So again, a lot of people flipping that strategy. So this particular strategy that I have, which is just buying as it smashes through VWAP, this may be a short only strategy, and that just might be the change I make going forward. And what happens is every one of these kind of small changes I make over time, eventually, right, something's going to break, and it's going to be like, okay, now I've gotten this strategy so that it's consistently profitable. I can just come in every day. I can do the strategy, and more days than not, I'll end up making money. And again, that's how it works from the swing trading side of things, where I've gone through this exact same process that you're seeing here with the day trading for my swing trading, which again is the bread and butter for me. So,
boom, baby, let's go.
And then what I may do, watching Mitch here, long might be more about doing these kind of undercuts, these fake outs, right?
Looking good here now, guys. 1178. Looking for maximum move to 1230s. That's measuring the flag action on the move here. And I'm just looking at it now, setting stop loss at the high of the day here. I just want to kind of just put it right slightly below here. I think it hits 1060s on this pullback. I'm going to put out here around the 1155s, but just got to be careful because I want to take this green, but I think it could get to 12 here. A small pullback makes sense here for some traders to get some pullback after, of course, the high of the day, the intraday high. So they're selling out there. That's normal. Let's see if we get some real buying to come right back into 12. About 58. I'll just take the money and run. That's $58. That's perfectly fine. Giving myself the chance to get that nice little big runner, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Just trying to go ahead and keep it pushing here, guys. Let's see it.
Yeah, just bringing up the SPY again, and to the surprise of no one, that breakthrough the VWAP was another fake. So we continue to be kind of stuck in this range, continue to frustrate people who are looking to get involved one way big on either side. So yeah, we need something to break one way or the other. I've been saying that all day. It will happen just out of the blue. There'll be a tweet or something and that will just knock us out of this range, and then maybe we can finally have a trend for the day. So just pay attention to what the big man's going to tweet.
Took my money there at the 1160s there, guys. Pulled back there. I could see it coming back to the VWAP, so I'll try to replay it at the VWAP 1122s if it comes back there. Could have maybe held a little bit more off of the 9 EMA, maybe the 1050s, put it slightly below that. But the key here is also I've just been trying to step up the funded account, right? Get some type of cushion so I can start to size up and not feel so pressured, right? So there it is. That's not a bad move itself. Gets me about $116. Pushing today, I got about $86. So, hey, not doing too bad. Just continuing to battle here in the funded account. And, hey, that's how it is, man. It's not going to be perfect, and I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to take some cash and make sure I'm paying myself, right?
Exactly. The chop continues, and I think we'll get a little bit easier trends if we end up breaking.
Yeah, I like this XLV, man, recovery here. It's interesting to me because of the amount of volume that you're getting today, and this looks like a key reversal in healthcare today with the amount of volume that's being traded. Look at the amount of volume that's being traded today, guys. This is the types of things that I like to capture a little bit, and so XLV makes perfect sense to start seeing this turnaround. All the RFK, blah, 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 and this is done. It's done, guys. He's in. They already know. Now what they probably know, things aren't changing that fast, right? And so I think this is an area and sector overall to look for some nice gains in the next couple of months. I'd be watching this on swing trades for sure. I like the moving averages, the way it's looking. I don't know, man. That makes sense for me.
So you just pop in, you're gonna trade the ETF, or you're gonna look under the hood at like a Lily.
Swing trade wise, I would do the ETF, right? Swing trade, I'd probably look at the ETF, look at some leaders there, things like that, right? There's RX continuing, could keep going, guys. So it is what it is. I'm gonna be fine with that one. But yeah, you could also take a look at some of the leaders, right? Take a look at what's been pulled back, what you believe in, right? Like, is it Eli Lilly that you believe in? Is it Amgen? Right? Amgen is not a bad one. What I like about it is it's more consistent. You can see it on the chart. It chops around, but it isn't probably going away anytime soon. Or you could take a real risk and go for something like calling a bottom on like a Pfizer or something like that. Really, at the end of the day, the best of breed are what I like to stick with. So I'd be looking at more of like an Lilly or something like that. But in this case, we're seeing more of the focus go to these genomic plays. So I'd also kind of focus on that aspect of things. All right, guys, I've taken some trades there, made some money today. We're going to keep talking some trading action. We'll take a look around different action now that we're starting to get some pullback, even Apple almost going red. So just be careful out there, guys. I feel like, you know, there's always those times where I play the VIX a couple of days and then I stop watching the VIX and then the VIX just completely goes chaotic. So just be careful out there today, guys. Are seeing a little bit of a pullback, all-time highs mentioned, even in our title, right? Well, and can the Bulls keep it running? We'll find out. We'll find out. All right, Alex, we're going to wrap up with you, my friend. We'll get you out of here, and we'll let you go ahead and keep focusing. Any last comment that you want to mention for traders out there? I know that you're funded, and you've been going in the battles of trading, guys, and I know how it can be.
In the thick of it. Yep, in the thick of it.
Any last message for all those traders out there that are in the battle?
You know what? I feel like so many of the biggest challenges with trading, it's like the human aspects of trading, right? It's the patience, it's the self-control, it's the discipline, and that all comes with time and just getting comfortable with with the way the market moves and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the technical part of trading, right? Like understanding charts and all that kind of stuff. That's to me, that's the easy part. It's the human side. It's the human side that even experienced traders, you can still trip up with that kind of stuff, right? You can still trip up with that stuff. So stick to your risks, stick to your plan. If there's nothing out there that is, fitting your parameters or how you normally trade, don't take a trade. Just watch. You can always learn by watching price action, even if you're not participating, right?
Yeah, we talked about it when you came on, right? The freedom of day trading also is that there's freedom, right? Yes. You can just say, hey, I'm done for the day. I'll come back tomorrow. See you guys later, right?
we don't want to be glued to our screen for pre-market, the whole market, and then aftermarket, right?
Yeah.
That's not a life.
Just get a 9-to-5 at that point.
What's the point?
Yeah. For that, then you just go work for somebody that'll tell you to stay there anyways, right? So
that's it.
Hey, wish you the best of luck, Alex. Keep pushing on your journey. Like always, man, there's going to be ups and downs. The number one thing I say is keep learning about yourself, Alex, how your mind works and how you can go ahead and keep yourself in the zone. My man, Mark Douglas, of course, right? We want to be in the zone. And when you're in the zone, you can push that gas pedal in day trading. When you're out of the zone, that's when we need to be the observer and catch ourselves. Another book I like to talk to, it's a baseball book, but it's a really good one. It's called The Observer. It's by a pitcher that won multiple World Series for the Yankees, Stoudemire. So, hey, what does he say? He says, observe your thinking sometimes. Take a second to just observe what's going on in your head. What are you thinking about? And maybe just that alone can catch you, right? You don't have to react on it, but hey, why am I having this risk aversion right now instead of staying in the trade? Why am I feeling this pressure of taking the trade when I don't need to take a trade? I could just hang out here.
Yeah,
things like that can definitely make you a big move up. So we'll bring you back on, Alex. It was good to have you on today, my friend. and keep
appreciate
pushing
you
in your
guys.
journey.
Thanks
Have a good one.
for just sharing your insights, and thanks again for all that you guys do at Trade the Pool. People like
Awesome.
me, upcoming traders, really appreciate it.
Yeah, if we can bend that learning curve for anybody, we'll definitely appreciate that. Keep going, Alex. On
All
your
right,
journey.
thanks, Mitch.
All right, guys, let's go ahead. We'll continue here. We're going to bring on our next interview, guys. We're going to bring on another CMT, guys. I am starting to feel the pressure of two CMTs over here. Let's bring on Andrew Moss. You guys know it. I got to put myself in the middle here and feel the pressure, right? Hey guys, I'm always as transparent as can be. I took level 1, I failed level 2, then had twins, and I said, you know what? Take a second. But
Well,
I
level
gotta
2
be
is
like,
the hardest anyway. So
I gotta be like these guys. I gotta be like these guys. I gotta get back after it. I gotta push. Of course, if you guys don't know the CMT, I'm always a proponent of it. The Chartered Market Technician Association, guys, check it out. It's really awesome. It's really a great combination in getting your insight. And if you're looking in being in this industry for a long time, I know these two guys. They go out to even the conferences. Get with other great minds. That's what it's all about. So, hey, happy to have you on today, Andrew Moss. How we doing this morning?
Mitch, what's up, man? Good to see you again. How you doing?
Oh, excited to talk stocks, man. There's one thing for certain. I always talk about it, and Michael talks about it all the time. I steal all his good friends.
I was about to say, when he's making this list, he's like, yeah, I'm going to reach out to some people. You reach out to Mike. And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at the list, and he's got Anne-Marie, and he's got Andrew Moss. And I'm like, dude, and you're taking all my friends.
It's going to keep going. We're going to bring on Jay Woods. We're going to bring on you were on JC's show this earlier today. So, I mean, we could keep it going.
Yeah, Michael, you're getting around doing the morning show too, huh? That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I look at markets and I yap about them. That seems to be my whole life.
What up?
My whole
Yeah,
life.
what else do we do, right? It's
I think
well, listen, I'm honored to have made the so-called good list and happy to be here, Mitch. I can't imagine that trying to raise twins would cut into your study time, man. Come on, you know.
You know that one, man. Well, I'll tell you one thing. It makes the market seem a lot easier.
Yeah, everything's easy compared to doing that, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. So let's take a look into the market now and talk a little bit about what you've been seeing. We can be more in kind of a longer term focus. Doesn't necessarily need to be just for day trade and mentality. How are you seeing the market right now, Andrew?
Oh, I'm glad to see some long-term charts. Right, they're trying to suck me into day trading here. I'm trying, but I'm still very, very bad at it.
Balancing these different time frames is a challenge for sure. And this market's funny right now to me because and Michael, I work in the same thing. We're not a day trading group necessarily over at Inner Circle, but we'll take day trades when the market presents and when it feels like you need to have a shorter term focus. And so everything, when you guys know, I do a weekly chart thread every Saturday morning so I can stay focused on the longer term and looking at stuff. And the charts are bullish, right? I've written that for a couple of weeks. The charts are bullish. We've seen a consolidation and an uptrend, which normally gives way to more new highs, which we've seen, and so on and so forth. And at the same time, while the technicals all paint, I won't say a rosy picture, but a solid picture for sure, there's a lot of concern out there, a lot of shorter term focus and more trader types. Just, they don't care for what's happening. Even though we keep seeing new highs, we get a lot of chop in between. And so, what's the result? Is it just frustrating the shorter term trading focus, or is this just part of the, come with the territory of just chop and grind and make new highs and chop and grind and make new highs and kind of frustrate folks along the way? That's that's the market specialty, is frustrating as many people as possible in as many different ways as possible sometimes. So and
then overall, I mean, I know Michael pushes on it all the time, but this doesn't look like a bearish type of market. I mean, that green line does not make me feel very much like this market's turning around anytime soon. So definitely, that's what we're seeing too. I'll let you go and kick a little bit off here, Michael. But definitely something else there in that market. I mean, if you just, sometimes you got to keep it simple, right? And just look at the market, and it's just a lot of talk out there right now about what could be coming down the road, but that could be 6 months, 10 months, a year, years from now.
Yeah. No, so Andy, again, I always read. I highly recommend reading your thread every Saturday. It's I got alerts turned on and just chart after chart after chart. What
I have it right here for you guys out there. Go ahead and hit this link if you guys want to keep up with that newsletter.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks.
What do you think of the expansion outside of the U.S., right? And this is something I'm sure you've got your finger on as well, that we're seeing a lot of movement, not just like China's the one that takes up the news space, but the European markets. We're seeing some like Argentina, even with the president rug pulling, doing well. A lot of these outside the markets. Is this something you're kind of thinking is going to stick for long term? You think this is a flash in the pan? Is it time to move some money outside of the U.S. and then maybe buy some international names?
I think there's a chance for that, and I think it depends largely on the dollar. China has, of course, been in the headlines. I looked at FXI every Saturday, and the last few Saturdays have been, really remarkable. It had a kind of a great falling wedge pattern there at a VWAP. An anchored VWAP, and then broke out. And I mean, it's textbook kind of stuff. And ACWX, which I've referred to as, the rest of the world, has been, it didn't look so good for a while. And you can see that big down move there back in October, which, the rest of the market did the same thing, and then looked pretty susceptible under your shaded area there in early 25. And, what a turnaround. And when we talk about and I'm not a macroeconomist and smart enough to explain all the particulars of the correlation with the U.S. dollar, but I do watch the charts, and it has an effect, it seems. And so as the dollar does its things, and when it's going down, I always refer to that as kind of giving a tailwind to stocks, and I think international stocks are a big beneficiary of that, and that's kind of what we're seeing now. So U.S., international, China, Argentina, developed third world, or what frontier markets, I should say, developing markets, that kind of thing. It's all a beneficiary there, that tailwind from a falling dollar.
And for those who don't know, this, again, it's very CMT ETF to bring up. I love it. The ACWX, for those, again, who don't know, is the All Country World Index ex-US. Basically, just you take the whole rest of the world, you pull the US out, and you say, okay, how is everyone else doing? And I couldn't agree more. If you look at this particular trend just over the last, since January, and the how vertical this has been going, then you just compare it to the SPY, which since January has been doing well, but just not nearly as well. So what I was wondering too, is this another way, that the fact that the rest of the countries are breaking out, is this another way of saying energy, industrials, this kind of stuff is coming in play? Because if you look at the makeup of the US market, especially the SPYs and the Q, mostly tech, right? Is mostly driving the markets. If you look at Brazil and Argentina and even Germany, there's not really much tech there to be seen at all. It's mostly, again, industrials, things that you drop on your foot and it hurts. So if someone didn't want to move money kind of outside the market, would that be something to look at? Maybe just grab some industrial plays, Caterpillar, John Deere, that kind of thing?
I think so. All of these different areas of the world are reliant on tech and energy in one form or another. Here and in developed countries, we're talking about AI, we're talking about computer processors, robots, electric cars, all this kind of stuff. In the more developing countries, they need steel, they need infrastructure, they need power generation, and all of those kinds of things. And so the industrials play into all of that. I think that's a great place to be looking, and going over some of this stuff in my mind over the last few days. It's just energy, no matter where it comes from, I think is going to continue to be just a huge underlying theme there. Now, whether it's great trading opportunities, shorter term, who knows? Today, what's on everybody's mind is solar. We have Solar Edge came out and the stock's up 30% or so last I looked on an earnings report. And so you've got things, you know, you look at Solar Edge, look at TAN for the whole sector, First Solar, Enphase, all of that is, you know, they've been really in the gutter. And as we face these growing energy demands, all of this stuff is going to, you know, it's all going to be in focus. And some of these lagging, nuclear has been hot for a long time, right? And so does solar come online now? Does it, you know, is it going to make the turn and get back into an uptrend here? You know, maybe something to consider along those lines too.
Well, I talked about it on my playbook today, so I got to ask you the question, Andrew. What about good old Kathy Wood? And
yeah, that's ARKK and ARKF. ARKF is something I've been watching for a while in the fintech space, and you look at the holdings in there, and it's Coinbase, which is struggling a little bit with crypto, and Palantir and Upstart and Affirm and all of these, in Robinhood. How can I not mention that one first? You know, those are definitely a focus area and companies that seem to have a lot of potential.
I like Robinhood. I think I've been a holder of Coinbase for a while, but I think I'm changing my tune a little bit for a long-term play on cryptocurrency and all that. I just think with Robinhood, you get a little bit of a hedge there where if crypto falls apart, Robinhood is going to take a hit for sure. But they're making so much money on the other side of the market, right? The degen gamblers for AMC and GME and all of these types of names, as well as they seem to be trying to, you know, make things a little bit more serious and pushing to
they've rolled out
401ks and that kind of thing.
And they've got a professional trader platform now, which I haven't experienced yet, but I hear is pretty good. It's a respectable effort from them. So yeah, they seem to be diversifying their business out into, you know, more areas that should, I guess, drive earnings. The stock's been doing well, and you know, something we want to focus on. And you know, to your point about crypto, is there a more frustrating chart anywhere right now than Bitcoin? I mean, this thing is just
not.
It's crazy. It's so flat, and then you know, so many head fakes in either direction, and so all of those related names are equally, if not more, frustrating.
Yeah, definitely. Just to take a look into the market here, guys. Q's making its way back to the VWAP as the Q's are coming back. Earlier, I was talking about how technology was red a decent amount from the open, now starting to be one of the top movers in the last 15 minutes. Also, of course, healthcare continuing on the drive in healthcare that today is doing well. ARKK, I was even looking at it right there off of 6650s, not taking the trade, but seeing the strength coming back in those names just tells me to continue watching into those genomics names. Andrew, have you ever traded some genomics? Are you interested in anything in that space? I know, of course, like big names like CRISPR has been out there for so long, but now just starting to get the love.
It's definitely interesting. It's not been at the forefront of my mind for trading opportunities for whatever reason. It just hadn't been there. But
let's just be honest, the charts will do that to you.
yeah. You only look at so many, right? And it's but I do think it's amazing what's going on in that space.
Yeah, man, big day today, guys. Seeing so many names having a good day there. And overall on healthcare, how do you feel about healthcare? I mean, we've been pretty hitting it hard for the beginning part of the year. How do you view healthcare?
Well, I heard you guys talking about XLV right before I came on, and you know, the RFK shakeup and all the concerns there certainly had its effect. And I think you put it pretty well. I mean, he's confirmed. That's old news, right? Like, this is not a question anymore. Forget about it. What's the next thing? And then you were on what is it, RXRX, which is, you know, you're starting to look at the fusion of AI and healthcare, which is TEM has been another big theme and something that, you know, everybody's been watching. And I think that is, there's so many different layers to the AI story that are really very interesting to me. And I think AI and healthcare is at the forefront of that. It's just really kind of mind-boggling, the stuff that they purport to be able to do. And, you know, the stocks are responding. Yeah.
And I think it's so important to catch themes. I'm always about the themes out there. in trading, trying to catch
Right.
that. And like you just mentioned, when you can combine something like that, right? So healthcare with the AI, right? That give you those tailwinds, right?
Mhm.
And we'll see how these stocks really kind of get going. That's why I like ARKK also, because it had all these genomic names in there. And
Mhm.
like, you're just like, why is that even in there? Like, isn't this supposed to be like kind of like a technology ETF? But now those are doing well with some names that have done well, right? For her, Palantir, of course, has been kicking butt. Tesla, Tesla's chart, I saw it on your screen on your Twitter recently. So how do you feel about Elon Musk Twitter situation here? I mean, and Tesla overall. I mean, there's a cheaper car coming soon. I mean, maybe that's the catalyst that could bring us back, but it's a tough
Yeah,
chart.
it's always under such a heavy microscope. Everyone's analyzing everything that Elon's doing, and is he stretched too thin? And that's one of the articles I wrote in the last couple of weeks. Is just everybody's talking about, well, Elon can't possibly be running the company properly when he's doing all this other stuff, and so on and so forth. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I don't know, but it just, I think that's what we're seeing now is just the probably kind of an over scrutinization of the company, and the stock, goes down, touches the 100-day, and comes back up, and now it's testing this anchored VWAP from the October lows or the October earnings lows there, and if it can get back over that and start back up, it's still got some work to do. It'll really be attractive longer term to me, back over that 400 to 415 area, and surely there'll be some trades set up in between here and there, but longer term, I think it needs to get back over 414-ish.
And we've talked about this before, and this is a setup that I like personally. I actually have part of my systematic, like back tested stuff. And when you mentioned, right, the VWAP, that 400 area, that's what you're looking at, right? Is the VWAP from that all-time high? Is that something you trade against frequently? Is just saying, hey, if I want to buy something that's dipping and coming back, I'm going to wait for it to reclaim that price?
Yeah, I use anchored VWAPs a lot, and that one is the one from that pivot high. Is I put it on my chart. It's right around 404, and so yeah, you've got there's that anchored VWAP. There's the 50-day moving average and a bit of a trend line all there between 400 and 404, and then a big pivot high from back in. It kind of goes way back to, I don't see it on my chart here. It's but 414.50 is a spot that seems to have been important for quite a while now. So that's just kind of capping that off. But the VWAP that it's testing today is down around 362, and that's from the earnings announcement on October 23rd of last year. So it dipped below that, and now it bumped up against it on what was that, Friday, and battling with it again a little bit there today. So that's an area of interest for me to see, and then we can see how does it get to from 360s back up to that 400 level. Look for some trade opportunities in that space.
I like that.
All
That's
right.
a lot of confluence there, right? So that's what you're looking for, is just
Love
there's a
the
whole bunch of
confluence.
stuff, right, that's happening in this zone. Let me just see what happens kind of if and when it gets there. It's good. And again, that's a lesson for swing trading. It's a lesson for day trading as well. The more things that you can stack and say, I'm going to wait for this thing to occur, the less kind of impulsive trades you'll kind of make. So I really, really like that.
It's a great point. And back to XLV real quick, you've got the 8, the 21, and the 100-day moving averages all right in the 145 area on XLV. So it's facing a pretty significant test today. Not to mention over on my 30-minute chart, the declining 5-day moving average right there in the 145s as well. So I think that's another
Brian Shannonism there, eh? The 5-day moving average and the
exactly where that comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one thing I have to ask is a quick one before I get you out of here. You mentioned the 30-minute chart. That's something that I've been kind of weighing on a little bit more of. What do you think about that time frame overall for charting?
I love the 30-minute chart. I think for looking at swing trade entries and exits, it's very valuable for me. And I love to, again, to give Brian Shannon credit on his book, Multiple Technical Analysis on Multiple Time Frames, is a fantastic place to look for anybody wanting to learn charts or take their trading to the next level. And so I look at a 2-minute chart on a day trading basis. I keep a 30-minute chart, daily chart. We've already talked about, I do the weekly charts, at least once a week. And so looking at all of these different time frames is critical part of my process. And on that 30-minute chart, you're looking at the 5-day moving average, some different anchored VWAPs. I find all of those tools very valuable to the swing trading process.
Love to hear it. Like always, guys, Andrew Moss, CMT, guys. I put up there the newsletter and also the Twitter, guys. Give him a good follow and keep up with all those charts that he posts, and give him a message. And maybe you got a stock that you're looking at that maybe he's looking at also. Like always, it's always great to have you on, Andrew. We'll have you back on, my friend. It's definitely good to have you on here. I know you and Michael are good friends also, so we'll just continue the party, man. And got to catch you guys out there on the CMT conference so that I can have some fun with the CMTs. Got to get back to work.
Yeah, get back to work. Come on. Come join us.
You can do it.
I will. And all you guys, check out the CMT, right? I know that I'm always going to be a proponent for it no matter what, even if I don't have the designation. But I think it's so important to kind of work on your craft and really kind of get yourself in if you're going to be here for the long run. That's why you see these guys with that CMT on there. And there's nothing better than having a little bit of some status on the end of your name, right? Nothing bad with that.
No.
It's a great program. I would encourage anybody to check it out. If you got interest in charts, formalize the process and give it a shot. It's a great program.
All right, Andrew, take care, my friend. We'll bring you back. All right, let's get back to the markets here. We'll be wrapping up in just a second here. 10:53. We got just a little bit left here. Looking around to see if maybe I catch one more trade here, guys. I'm going to go for one more here. One that we talked about earlier that I'm taking another shot in, ALLO. So a lot of times I'll do this. I'll just keep a stock on watch that I got out of earlier, right? So this looks like a nice little setup back through 3. I'm going to be able to take it off of a $10, $11 risk, looking for the breakout above 3 here. If it goes back into the 290s, I can just get out, right? So this is just either breakout or not right here. We'll see if we get it. Another thing that kind of get me on this insight was this candle here, big volume coming in there. And to me, that could have been a big buyer stepping up there and getting a little bit hit on the downside. I don't know if he got out or not, right? But I can tell you that big sizing came in there. Now looking to see if it can reclaim that spot and start to head really quickly to the VWAP and above. We'll see what happens on this ALLO. Another thing is, this is a biotech in the right space today as healthcare just continues and continues pushing.
Yeah, it's go into the SPY here, right? We're through VWAP now. So I think that kind of puts the buyers fully in control again. So now we just need to see what happens for the long period of time. And one thing I added while we were talking there, I love talking to these traders again and put that on, as I added this 5-day moving average to the 30-minute chart. So you're probably going to hear me talk a little bit more about this. I know exactly where he got that from. Is again Brian Shannon's book, talks all about it, and you can see we're kind of struggling there at it. So we need to keep that in mind. So the idea, if you haven't read the book, just Google Brian Shannon and on Amazon or whatever, you'll find them. But this is kind of his overall health indicator, right? He has a pretty hard rule that he won't buy anything below a declining 5-day moving average, and he won't short anything above a rising 5-day moving average. So it's very interesting here. And, being a swing trader, that's more of what he's looking at there. But you can see we hit that and we've just backed off it kind of entirely. So we need to keep that in mind if that's something that's going to make sense. Probably put that on regular trading hours here as well. That might be a little better representation. I got to look at the code behind this, but we're just consolidating higher here. So we need to see this reversal happen and a close kind of above this 30-minute range. 30-minute candles, I'm glad you asked him that question, because something that I've been playing with more and more. I was usually a single time frame guy, daily, maybe weekly. But I think I'm going to start looking at that 30-minute more. I know Andrew's a swing trader and uses that as more of a fine-tunement of entry and exit, right? Is kind of a nice way to say it, where if you can save yourself a little bit of money on your swings by just fine-tuning your entry just a little bit, not getting too cute with it, you can, I think it'll be great. So
I definitely think it's something you got to try, man. And one of the things is the hardest things I think for day traders to do is to move back in time frames, and you got to try it, guys, because the truth is if you've only lived in the one, well, you probably never really found that kind of better risk to return. I think that's the important thing of using the bigger time frame charts. You can open yourself up to still kind of similar risk sometimes, but such a better return, right? And I think that's what I look for a lot of the times with the hourly recovery strategies and the 15-minute chart, 30-minute chart kind of play in, right? And they play within that hour, right? And one thing that's for certain, the traders, the big traders, they're not using their shorter time frames. They're using the bigger time frames. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, and I've always looked at it as if you're trying to see where a stock is going to go, you have to zoom out, right? You have to look at that area, right? It's very easy to, especially for us day traders, is we're on our 2-minute chart or a 1-minute chart and we get laser focused and we look at this and we say, oh, what a massive down move is happening right here on the SPY. But let's just, you can pop up to the 30-minute chart. You can see we're still hard stuck in this range. Something you'll see me do all the time. Or look, we're in the daily chart. We're still hard stuck in yesterday's range. So it gives you that perspective of saying that, yes, this candle right now, when I'm zoomed into this chart, looks very bearish. However, nothing really is going on here. We're still kind of just chopping around. So it gives you that forest for the trees. So it's the same thing I do where I'll look at a daily chart and then I'll go into the weekly chart. And, so then why not, if you're day trading, maybe a 5-minute chart and maybe a 30-minute chart or a 5-minute chart and a daily chart, I think is probably the most common setup. So yeah, I loved looking at that. Again, maybe something I'll take a little bit of look at in my own swing trading a little bit more and just say, hey, let me wait for a 30-minute confirmation. Let's see if I can tighten up my risk just a little bit here, right? Because he mentioned Robinhood, and Robinhood you can see actually triggered from one of my swing trading strategies. Haven't taken it yet. I usually wait until we get off air, and that's when I look at my swings. But, holding that 5-day moving average and putting in this 30-minute candle, maybe I'll just do something a little bit simple and say, hey, if we can break this 30-minute candle high and see if I can just tighten up that risk just a little bit. Anytime you can tighten up the risk means you can trade more. And kind of that's what we're trying to do in the long run, right?
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. And I think that that's one thing you need to be thinking about. And it's another way to kind of play the day trade action still, just playing for longer types of moves, smaller size is one way to play that, right? And that's why I've been talking more and more about those hourly recoveries, because it just gives you an ability to go after a range in the stock versus even also looking for breakouts and breakdowns, right? I feel like a lot of times some traders look for breakout and breakdown trades and they just continuously try this, but they haven't tried a different type of strategy, right? They haven't tried to trade the SPY off the hourly lows back up towards, let's say, the 15-minute resistance or something like that. Yeah. There's plenty of trades like that with inside of the breakout trades. It doesn't always have to just be breakout trading.
Yeah, and again, it's part of the whole thing I was talking about earlier, which I think going forward, I'm only going to be using this strategy of the VWAP break to the short side. Just it seems to be working better. And so then it means, okay, now I need to look at another strategy on the long side of things to try to get those bounces and looking at that different. And, the short side of the market seems to happen pretty quickly, right? If you're right, you're right pretty much right away. The long side of the market can take a little bit longer. So that might be a good use to zooming out in charts and not using my 2-minute charts for a long setup as I start to build a long setup, maybe going to that 30-minute chart, looking at that undercut and rally that we've been talking about. That might be better suited for the long side of things. Whereas again, the short side of things, if I had taken this CEDG, this is the only trade I would have needed today, that breakthrough VWAP. And it's just, you were right away, never really threatened to stop at all. And then you're down near the $20 area. So yeah, definitely start playing with time frames using multiples. This is just to show you how I did this in TradingView, right? You can just line these up and you can just say, hey, I want 4 charts here at one time. For me, I think it's on Windows, it's Alt, on Mac, it's Option. And I can just click and I can expand these really quickly. But when I'm on this view, I'm getting this is what's happening in the daily, weekly, 30-minute, and 2-minute, just very, very simply. So you can go through and check that out on that multiple time frame analysis.
Yeah, you can do this also, of course, on your Trader Evolution. You can use the grid or just use 2 charts and put them side by side. And what I usually do is I'll color code those. That's it. Right? Simple action out there, guys. All right, we'll see what happens on this ALLO. It's 11:01. I got to get out of here, guys. But ALLO, I'm still in on the funded account. So I'm going to set the stop right here underneath it and just let it work. If it works, it works. If not, it's okay. And the best part is, it's such a tight risk, guys. I'm going to go off 296 there. It's already above into the green. I'll look for a pop back towards kind of halting areas, which are the 380s. If I do get into a halt, as soon as I'm out of that first halt, I will be looking to sell it. We'll see what happens out there, guys. Can I get back there towards the highs? That's 378. Giving myself a chance of what? $5 of risk for $80 on the upside? I'll tell you right now, guys, that's why I take these trades a lot of times.
Yeah,
you got to be willing to accept the low success rate, but there's nothing wrong with taking those types of trades, right? And one of the biggest trades of how I got this funded account was doing a trade like this, a stock that halted, came back down into the halt where it like broke out from, and I just grabbed it back there and just rode it right back to the up halt. So I think that's a one way to think about it, is the psychology of the traders is what you're trying to grab a lot of the times in day trading action. That's why I love the swing trade action, because you can move slightly away from the psychology of things and more into the objective side of trading. That's why you see Michael love that side of trading, right? And he's trying to adjust. But that doesn't mean that you don't have both sides of the market out there that you guys can be learning also on the swing trade side. Of course, don't forget we have our swing trade accounts, right? Hey, check those out, guys. Check them out. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow. I'll have on Dennis Dick, a pre-market and post-market expert, arbitrage specialist, and pairs trader. So, hey, come on over, guys, and check that out. We're going to continue bringing on great guests like we had today, Andrew Moss. And don't forget, we'll have other traders on like we did today, other funded traders. So shout out to Alex. Appreciate you joining us today. We're going to keep pushing, bringing on different traders, experts in the industry, companies like we broke down with ETFs. We're going to keep trying to bring you guys extra value here. You guys just do us one favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit those retweets, and let everybody know this is the stream that's truly going to support you guys moving forward in your trading journey. We'll see you guys back tomorrow. Michael, have a good day, my friend.
Yeah, you too, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Later, guys. Take care.